Good evening, everybody. It's Rockin' Larry Lockin with Pleiadian Express Productions. Today with me, I've got Sierra Morris and Jane Hermstad, two of my fellow admins from the Pleiadians group, the largest Pleiadians group in the history of Facebook. Tonight, we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the reasons that we became admins, some of the reasons we wanted to become admins, as well as some of the things as admins that we try to look for and maybe encourage among members of the group, and some of the things that we discourage and reasons why we may delete some posts and not accept posts and things like that. We just want to get into that so we can kind of clear the air a little bit and let people know where we're coming from. And we appreciate your feedback. Much love, everybody. So with that being said, Sierra, how are you? Sierra Morris in West Virginia, East Coast, USA. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, Jane Hermstad in the land of the midnight sun, Norway. How are you?
I'm good, Larry.
Pretty good from out here on the West Coast, USA, Pacific Northwest, Western Hemisphere. Okay, anyway, North American continent. Anyway, so, I know we were talking a little bit about this in the pre-show, and I think maybe what we want to get into first is let's talk each a little bit about how maybe we became admins on here and why we wanted to be, and then we can kind of go into some of the things that we look at and see as far as, that catch our eye for good or bad reasons. Sierra.
Yes.
Let's start with you first. Okay. About how long have you been in the group Pleiadians, not just as an admin, but as a member, would you say?
About, say, 3 or 4 months, I think.
Okay. And so, as far as being an admin goes, what are some of the reasons that why you want to become an admin, or a reason why you want to be an admin in that particular group?
To help out.
Okay. Hey, that's a pretty good answer, to help out, exactly. Now, one of the things that that I noticed about you is that your posts seem to be very positive, upbeat, and also they're very diverse, and I think that's something we look for too in the group. And Jane, before we go back to Jane, about how long would you say that you've been in the group?
Oh, I'm not really sure, Larry. It's
About 5 months or so, I'd say.
yeah, some months, and yeah, I think I got the question from you. I don't think I know. I got the question from you. I
Yes.
got really not upset, but I was thinking about it. I had to answer that. I was thinking about it because I thought it was a big task to take upon, and I didn't have all that patience with the group. Being an Arcturian soul, um, that is one of the traits and one of my sort of weak points, so to say. So I just, when I was in discussions with other members, I tried to explain why I was thinking the way I was thinking, and sort of adding everything up. And all of a sudden, I noticed also the discussions did stop, and it was people doing bad things to each other. And I thought so. Then I would say so. Um, I think I used one day and one night, and my answer was clear. I wanted to help out, and I also wanted to develop or um, learn how to be more patient within myself, because I don't think that was some of the things that I was showing off that I wasn't. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, like when I know that I had approached and asked you and Jason about becoming admins, and when I'd ask you, I could sense that apprehension, but I knew that it was probably for the same reason a lot of people are apprehensive. You hear that word admin, and I think some people think, my God, what am I going to have to take on? And it's really not that much. It is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? There's not a lot to the actual function of it. I mean, there may be a lot going on that you have to monitor, but it's not like there's a whole bunch of steps to learn. You know what I mean? But it sure seems like that. I would imagine that would kind of be like Most people's first question that have never done it is like, what does it entail? You know?
Yeah, it gives you some advantages, and it gives you a lot of work. Um, and I felt this was a very heavy burden in the beginning. But at the same time, I knew I was up to the task of doing so. But I was more concerned about because I was in the group Arcturian group, and we didn't post so much. It was a common thinking, and we didn't. It was a common no. Everything was about knowing. We had to be. I used to think also I don't have to post this because everybody knows this.
Yes. Well,
But
that,
it was
that
more
sounds like
about
Arcturian.
yeah, it was more about love and how to create new things all the time. So you have to come up with some good idea or something you have seen on YouTube or the internet or discussion about creative things. So we didn't post that much. So I was a little bit puzzled about all this stuff that the Pleiadians did post. It was such um, I don't know. I wasn't used to it.
A lot of minutiae to go through, really, and I think it speaks to the growth level of a collective. And you talk about the Arcturians, it's the highest ascended form of being, and it really is completely all-knowing, whereas the Pleiadians are they're trying to make that transition into that, and so there's definitely a lot more growing pains with that type of soul. So I can see that, and thus, hence, we have these growing pains that we're going through, and we've solved a lot of them, a lot of the backbiting and stuff among group members. Had some group members leave that were perpetually trying to argue and make their point with people at any cost, when in reality we're all supposed to love each other and be respectful, and there's just no reason to tolerate in the group somebody calling somebody else a name. There's never in any circumstance where that is allowed, or I mean that should be allowed, or for anybody to even get irritated. There's just no reason for it at all. It's really, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not a hard ass, but it's inexcusable. But let me get into real quick why I wanted to be an admin in the group. I ran into Leah's group sometime in late November, early December. Had my own group, the Fringe Thinkers, but I really wanted to, be in the group, so I was. And then I was in there for about a month and a half or so before I became an admin. And I got to say, it's really grown like crazy. When I first became a member back then, there was only about 7,000 members in the group. Then when I became an admin in early or mid-January, I would say, there was about 10,000 people in the group. They just crossed that threshold. So Leah was looking for an admin, and so I asked, I privately messaged her and asked her, and she said, yeah. And so now, fast forward about 5 months later, 4 months later, I mean, we're up over 23,000, and I'm sure we'll hit 25 by summer or close. And so it's very important now that I'm not trying to pull this, we got to get real strict thing, but we need to be everybody needs to police themselves and be strict about what's posted, because there's just too much out there to not have every post be worthy, and especially whether it's worthy or not negative.
Yes, I remember the time when it's not long ago. I was having a conversation with Sierra, and I was kind of frustrated because there were so many posts that was going in all directions, and I felt a little bit, oh my God, this is shattered. And I told her that I didn't have that much time to talk with her because I was a little bit frustrated over this. And I said, oh, this group is fast growing. It's very rapidly growing. And we need some new admins. And I asked her if she wanted to be an admin, and I said I was going to talk to you and Jason and all the rest about it. And I was really tired, so I hit the bed. to sleep, and I was on to you about it the day after, and then she had already been speaking with you, and you were, yeah, you made her an admin, and I just loved it. How synchronicity.
Totally. Well,
Okay.
yeah, and Sierra had messaged Leah too with some ideas about being an admin in the group, and then I mentioned it to Leah about a week later if we ever need another admin, and Leah's like, yeah, put her on. I got that vibe too. She'd be good at it. So that's so weird. The three of us were, at least, and probably Jason too, are having that synchronicity like that. It's just amazing, and that's what it takes to make a good admin team. We're starting to learn to go by feel and flow from the heart logic, instead of making rash decisions or just going with our emotions and heart. I mean, we're starting to use a very mix of them, which leads to consciousness. And and the thing is too, like all these posts, Jane, that get frustrating sometimes. I think what bothers me too is like when you have a really good, insightful post that's thought provoking, right? Okay, and I don't know how you really stop this, but then you'll get all of a sudden after that, you'll get a ton of posts, which can be cute and nice, a lot of them, but it'll be photos of whatever and some words on it, and then but it's just people trying to express themselves too in their own way, and we don't want to limit creativity, but hence the fact that we've got to crack down on anything that has any negativity or low vibration to it, or anything about war, or anything about politics. Most of the time, sometimes there can be something really relevant to post about it, fine, but most of the time, if it's the same old, this politician, that politician, who cares? They're all, you know what, they're all the same, and it's an illusion. I mean, it's really insulting, actually, to bring up anything about Obama in the group, or Bush, or anything, or Putin. I mean, who cares? I mean, we already know it already, and it's like you're not going to tell anybody in those groups anything they don't already know as far as that shit goes. It's been the same old with any of that for 100 years. And it's just, it'll keep going and keep going. Obama's not the devil, nor is he God. I mean, it's just, his office days are done, and we go on, and same thing with any other leader that's been around. And the world's changing. We're awakening, and we don't really need to sit there and harp on this guy or that guy when they're not even really in control of any country. But that's beside the point. It just, and Jane, like one day I know I deleted that one photo, and you had, it kind of upset you a little bit. All those dead bodies and stuff like that somewhere, Ukraine. I don't know where it was, but I mean, it's. One, it's not appropriate for the group. It lowers the vibration. Two, everybody already knows it. Three, the people that they're blaming for it are controlled by the same illusion that's controlling their country, and the people that they think that are good in their country. So what we're trying, yeah, you agree, Jane? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yes, totally. The thing that upset me was more like there was this post of all these dead people and why and where it was, and then it was no questions about it. The post was really not. I didn't know, where is this going? What is this person up to? Why is it posting it?
Exactly, and he posted it on Leah's. Yeah, I think he put. Sorry to interrupt you, Jane. I think yeah, you're right. I think because he posted it on something else that had nothing to do with it. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, right? It posted on one of Leah's pinned posts or something.
Someone must have. I don't know, but someone must have accepted the post. I don't know why, but the dead body upset me because.
I think that was a comment, though. I think honestly that was a comment on a post. You know what I mean? He just put that he took that and used it and put that in a comment, which anybody can do a comment on any post, and he put that in a comment section too. Like, I think, you know what I mean? He just, and it didn't have anything relevant to do with anything to begin with.
Yeah, I just had this very bad feeling about this because of the dead bodies, and. It puzzles me about a little bit because I see a lot of dead bodies in my profession. So that's not. But the way it was posted, it was so. Um, I was feeling it was disrespectful to those souls. Even if you cannot see the faces, it's like, oh, it's giving me a bad vibration, and it's creating lots of hurt sad feelings, anger, and all of those bad feelings that's fear, and that's again hatred, and I think we don't need fear in the group. We don't need such feelings. We need to. There is so many souls coming into the group. This is new people, and they're having wounds from before, and they want to heal. And that's also one of our tasks, to let them have some time to heal. We can see that all over the news, in newspapers, in the TV, if we want to. But that's a one-way communication. This is two-way communications, and that's what I want to know. Why is it posted? Do you want to go anywhere with the post? Is there any answers you want? What's the question?
Yeah. How about I'll make them a deal? I'll tell them what if they have. We haven't had an answer in 100 or in the history of time. If they want to come in and give us an answer right away to fix it all, hey, sure, post it one time, but that's not going to happen. And two, you're not telling anybody anything new. For one, we know this is all going on around the world. Why don't you tell us at some point when it hasn't been? For three, I mean, it's just ridiculous because everybody is coming to that group that needs to be there to heal. To move on, to heal, not ignore it. We already know all that has happened. I mean, what's the, yeah, give me another post if the planet blows up. Then you can tell me, oh, hey. But the consciousness from these people that post that kind of stuff, they're blaming another country. They think that there's this separation when really we're all truly people around the world. And then the evil part, the governments around the world, are all one too. So there's no us against them, Russia versus China, us against Russia, China versus Mongolia. Who knows? Who cares? And when I say who cares, I care, but I understand the bigger picture. Okay, and anytime you take out your anger on anybody else in the world like that, in a general situation like another country, well, those people, well, we're all the same people. And people should just wake up and realize it. And it doesn't even matter if they're not, I'm not judging, but they don't need, this is not the group for you if you're not yet at that level where you're ready to move on and accept that that's just been how it is, but we don't want to do that anymore. Okay? I mean, we're healing, we're clearing, we're a high vibration group. There's other groups that play their role that aren't as high of a vibration, but that's fine. But in our group, we have to protect the integrity of that high vibration. Not to mention, there's so many people in the group, and the posts go by so fast that any post that's put in there needs to be at least clean and not negative. I mean, we have enough posts already besides all that are kind of just a million posts of I don't want to say it because I don't want to, everybody needs to express their creativity, but let's just put it this way. We've got enough positive posts that we don't need anybody posting anything negative. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. And you were, now when you was talking, you were touching several subjects, and some of them are the consciousness. It's like we are vibrating high, and we know all this. And I want a discussion. I want discussions. It's healthy, and it's really, as I've said before, it's cards on the table time. We need everything to be put a light on, just to see what people know about it, and also clear the floor in a way. And we need also to vibrate even higher.
No, I agree, Gene. And you know what? I'll let you continue your point. But right, and when you say cards on the table, it's time to get everybody's take on everything. But the one thing that we don't need to continue to rehash over is a million dead bodies. And like you said, if anything, that's not honoring. That's desecrating those souls who had that happen to them. So it is cards on the table. You're right, and that negative hate war vibration is not something for this group is basically it. So yeah, hon, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Just I'm interested to know what Ciara is thinking about this.
Well, I would be interested to know what she is too, but she has tapped out on us here for just a second, so we're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit. I know that I know that in talking to her, you know, a brilliant girl. She's kind of shy, but we all were when we were younger. She's going through a lot of ascension symptoms right now at just barely 20. But I think that even more so than like you and me, Jane, though, this stuff upsets because she's younger. This stuff really upsets her a lot. I mean, and see, that's the thing is, you know, you and me got a little bit of thick skin and get irritated, and we don't like it, but it could really dissuade some younger people that are, you know, good ascending souls. It could really dissuade them from being in the group. And frankly, you know, maybe it has a few times.
Yes, I think so. I agree, and um, about discussions, it's like there are so many discussions that I think we need we need to get out there is uh, that we are sisters and brothers. We are in a family, and how do you treat your family members? Um, yeah. Uh,
Exactly. That
you
see
can
that right
always
there is good.
discuss. You can always discuss with them, but where is this discussion? Do you want your truth to be imposed on everyone, and is your agenda not to give up until everybody thinks the same as you do? It's about accepting and understanding other people and allowing them to grow in
Yeah,
this wilderness.
exactly. It is. Exactly. I just not to break in. I just got a message from Sierra. Her phone was extremely hot, and it went out on her, and she's going to have to charge it up. So you know she may have to come back next time. But I think Jane, that you and I can touch on that. You know, touch on this and just let everybody know too, especially like we're doing. We can continue to go and you know that is. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I lost my train of thought with thinking about that, but yeah, so the discussions, I mean, yeah, what would you like to see as far as the discussions go more?
I want to see more creation. I want to see more answers. Um, I don't want to see that much of a post being a fact. I want to see when they're posting something as a problem or a need. I want to also see if there is any ideas how to solve the problem or their need. Or I want to see also questions. Is there anyone out there who has a take on this as um, that it could be um, somehow could be something that solves the problem?
And very beneficial. And I think too is I'd like to tell some of my star brothers and sisters out there to, you know, don't be shy. I mean, we all appreciate the hearts and the namaste and the love comments and the happy faces. We do, but you know, this is your group too, and don't be afraid to get out there and make a comment. I mean, trust me, you're not going to be in trouble with the group, and being ridiculed will not be tolerated. If you're being ridiculed by others, it won't be tolerated, and everything's going to be fine. I mean, as long as you're not being negative towards another person in that group and slanderous, there's no reason why you should feel apprehensive. I mean, say what you got to say. This is the time where everybody needs to step up. You know what I mean? This is where people need to talk about things and not be afraid to. This is everybody's show. You know, it's not, you know, we're not trying to get this person's opinion or, you know, somebody like, we're not always out to get a David Icke's opinion or this guy's opinion, that guy's opinion. I mean, we've heard from all those people before, love them or not. We know what they've got to say, and we want to start hearing from people, and that starts in the group too. And you know, but yeah, like Jane said, show some passion, show us what you want to talk about, show us what you got, you know, about, you know, things that are loving and how we can move this thing forward. We don't need to get caught up in the hate parade and the war vibration, because first of all, it's old and it's played out. And, you know, I don't even tolerate people going there with me with, oh, well, don't you care what's going on? You know what? I was through with it before you knew of it. I forgot more about the horrors of it than you'll ever know. And that's not being arrogant, but that's kind of the level that I'm at, and probably you're at too. I mean, you know the history of all this crap, you know, and so that's just not where we're at in the group. And I want to encourage people to just be creative. Show your creativity to us, you know, whatever you're talented at. show us. I mean, that doesn't mean sell a bunch of Ray-Ban glasses to us, or sell your product out there. Although, if you feel it's really worthy for the cause and it's not really about, you getting wealthy off of it, then talk to one of the admins. Maybe you can post, but typically, that's not what we're about.
I've been doing some notes while you have been talking, at the same time listening to you, and I think I've been writing down something here. It's about politics, religion, science. It's all like religion and science is coming together, being sort of married in these days, and they are acknowledging each other, and politics is sort of in a distant far out there, and playing out some other role, have some other role. And I think also we have to remember that both religion and science all says we are one, and we need to come together and have love and compassion and be a family. It's, after all, the family, where the family starts.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes from the family, from one single family, every single family in the society, that mirrors the society. So no wonder if there is fightings and bad stuff and bad vibrations and bad communications going on in the family, that will mirror the society, because that's what you're bringing out at work, in school, in wherever you go, and with friends. And if you have a bad language and being sorrow and depressive and having all those negative feelings and expressions out there, that's the society coming back to you. What you mirror is coming back to you. And I think also there is so many things going on in the group. They're talking about music, food, ascension food, fasting. Me and you and Jason were talking about fasting, about different ways of eating, and about different times. That could be also, I want to see more of that and more creative stuff about that. And also about growing plants. That's a hot topic.
Yes.
And very important to be self-sustained, and also maybe sustain other people. And meditation, and I want to see much more about art, different kinds of art. That is an expression, and it gives out idea and creativity, and I would love to see more of that.
Nothing would please me more too, Jane. And exactly. And the thing about the creativity is, somebody out there might be thinking, listening, might be thinking, okay, well, geez, I don't know what to talk about. But we'll talk about what interests you. What are you creative about? What is it you like to do? And you just gave a bunch of topics, whether it's music, gardening, plants, food, nutrition, poetry. I mean, it could be anything. And I'm sure that just touches the list of all the different things that, star seeds and Pleiadian souls are the most diverse that you'll ever find, and it's time to start letting some of that shine. That doesn't mean, you don't have to quit posting the cute posts with the slogans on them. That's fine as long as they're positive, but don't be afraid to take a chance. It's like, what are you waiting for? You're online. It's like nobody's really seeing what you're saying, and nobody's going to ridicule you in that group. And I think that's even why, as admins, it's very important for us to really make sure that doesn't happen, because some people are at a stage right now still where they're sensitive, and it bugs them and hurts them to be insulted. It sucks to have somebody call you out and say something to you negative. They may disagree with you, but anybody that disagrees with anybody, even if they're right, if once they throw an insult in there, they've lost all credibility. It just, because somebody with the true wisdom and knowledge would never do that. And so it's very important now that we remain in that high vibration and protect the integrity, and the group members can do that by just being nice to each other. I mean, walk away from a post if you have to. If somebody insults you, let an admin know. Don't get frustrated. Agree to disagree at the end of the day. you know, or the end of the thread, whatever, you know?
We have seen enough of that, insultments and bad language and people saying, uh, "What, Lauren? What are you doing here? Go somewhere else."
Yeah.
And even go to hell. I couldn't believe my eyes when I was reading that, and I was thinking, oh my God, what are there were, especially in that situation, it was two going after one, and it was right. It was really, yeah, that was also new members. But I think also new members that do things like that will always very quickly feel that this is not the place for me, because I don't feel familiar with this high vibration and all the lots of the hearts and compassion and loving feeling that others is giving and supportive of this person. And that's why I always also, when I see that, I try to, in a loving way, trying to remind them of the rules that Leah puts up, and I think we ought to respect. That's her site. She came
Yes.
up with it, and we need to respect it. And that we also want that for her and for us and for all the rest of the members. We have no one to lose. It's really precious souls out there. And I even also read some people being lonely and not loved and
Yeah.
thinking about leaving the group. And I felt so heartbroken of seeing this. It was really like having my little sister or brother being mocked at school. And I felt like really protective, and I felt so sorry that they had to go through this, because we are all coming into the group with some wounds and lots of experience from the 3D world and our society that's not very loving these days. And we're coming somewhere that we have maybe heard of being lovely. And then again, experiencing this is really touching my soul. It's touching my heart deep inside. And I
I
felt
agree.
like
Yeah.
my heart was shaking. It was a double beating. I felt like I had to answer this and do something about it very quickly. And that's also why we are here, to make them understand in a loving way that we want you here. We have no one to lose. And you are as important as everyone else. But remember, who you were talking to now is your brother and sister. You need to take care of them. If that was your brother or a sister, or what would you do if someone did that to them on the street and you saw it?
And really, you're insulting yourself when you insult somebody else, and sometimes I have to remind myself that there's a lot of people still stuck in 3D, because you'll see little petty things like that, and you know, if it wasn't such a tragic thing, I'd almost snicker like it's hot, you know, that's just lame. But it hurts people, you know, and the last thing that, you know, I'd like to see, Jane, is some new, you know, loving member coming into the group, and the first post they may see is, well, you know, the Russia's going to blow up the Ukraine, and Obama's going to blow up the world, and you know, and then you see another post with somebody bickering, and you know, those are things that we will delete right away when we catch them. We will delete them on command, and no questions asked, and that's just how it is. And you know, I'm just letting people know that if you try to post something, you better be very careful if you're going to post something political, and you know, and if it's relevant and not real negative, it may fly. But if you're trying to climb aboard the hate parade or get people to, you know, say, oh, look at what's going on here, all this, well, look at what's going on there. It's the same thing that's been going on since the beginning of time. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, go ahead and post something if the planet blows up. I mean, there's nothing worse now that could happen besides that. And it's like, okay, it's played out. And first of all, they don't know the whole story. The disinfo and that we don't even need to get into, but we just need to keep on a high vibration. There's people who are very vulnerable in that group and lonely. And like you said, you know, your heart just breaks for them, and mine does too. I've even talked a few people into staying, and you know, and then even the person that insulted them, give them a second chance. And it's another thing with younger members that come in that may not know as much. Maybe they do get a little irritated and say something in one post, and then, you know, we give them a second chance, and they see the light and grow above it. But, you know, the tolerance just cannot. You can disagree and agree to disagree. There's never a reason to get shitty with somebody. Never a reason to get shitty in there. You can walk away, or you can report them. And believe me, if it's worthy, I mean, that person's going to be warned, and the second time they're going to be gone. And if it's severe enough, the first time they'll be gone. And that's not like a threat, but I mean, it's just what we need to do to protect the integrity of the group. Leah's worked real hard to build that group, and that's her group. There's no egos here. That's her group. We love being in the group. In this role, though, that's, you know, she's the general, and, you know, we're here to enforce the rules of that group. You know, she's doing some amazing light work in other realms right now with music, and, you know, we're going to make damn sure that in that group that are protective, which it's ours too, our collective is protected, you know?
Yeah, it's not in anymore to be having a bad language and to show off that you're any more than anyone else. And I think it's very important, which I have been posting several times, that I'm no more than you. You are the one you are, and you're so special, and you're more than you think you are.
Yes.
But that's not the same as you have to compare the one person to any other. You're not to compare yourself with anyone. You have to know that you're all that and even more. But that's not the same as the other one is not. The
Yes.
other one is.
I agree. No, I was just saying I agree.
Yeah, and I think also about low vibrations, it's like hating. Someone showing hate, swearing, being depressed, sadness, it creates fear, and it's not okay. It's a low vibration, and awakened people should know that, but not everybody do. It's people who's coming into the group are new to these vibrations, and they're new to everything. I think they should be very cautious. If they haven't read the rules, they have to be very, very cautious what this group is all about, because it's about consciousness. It's about not always. You cannot compare a grown-up 50-year-old person with a young person, 18, 19 years. And I have also seen discussions where a very grown-up person is starting a discussion and thinking that I was saying also that I was hoping for an intelligent discussion, and asking the other person, tell me, how old are you? It doesn't sound like this is a very intelligent discussion. While this other person was trying to post love and compassion towards this person, and I thought that was very rude to say so, and why are you being this apprehensive? It was like the answer was like, I think she has an attitude. And it's not about that. I think everybody is a little bit hurt, and they have their own issues. They want to post, what would you have done if you were in my situation, without saying so, without saying that's my situation. It's a situation that that person is in and wanting some answers, and that's not wrong. It's like a desperate, could be a desperate way of trying to get some help out here. And that's why we're here, trying to help out and trying to be loving and caring. So I think that people need to know also that sometimes we need to post and ask people about what are you doing, why are you doing this and that, and where is this going? If you don't read up the rules, or don't want to be loving towards your sister or brother, you need to do some changes, because
Exactly.
not every wound is that obvious, and not everybody wants to post their situation also.
And that's true. And people need to be aware out there. There could be people in the group going through anything, divorces, addictions, financial situations, just hardships, and you just don't know. And the best thing that you can do is give love and support to everybody. And that doesn't mean okay, well, oh, we're just so lovey. No, we are, because we love ourselves. We are a collective, and we want what's best for us, for everybody else. We don't want to just, well, what's best for me. Well, we want what's best for everybody, and what's best for everybody is what's best for me, and things like that too. And I think one of the things too that, Jane, is an issue with us, especially, and the admins. I know Jason has an issue with it. Sierra does. Leah and probably Kathleen. But the thing is, people that apply to come into the group, okay, I mean, you wonder, there are red flags for us. I got to admit, there are red flags, and we don't do a complete big old check, but we do, we will, if we feel like it, we'll check out your page. And, I'm just saying, some of the things, and we don't stereotype it, some of the things, if you've got like 1 or 2 friends and like 11 followers, and you've also got, you've only been on Facebook a month, you've got, and then I look over at your favorite sports teams, and it's always all these generic sports teams that are not generic, but that anybody in the world knows who they are, even if they're not into sports, or anybody in the USA who's not into sports would know who they were, has heard of the name, the Lakers or whatever, the Cowboys, or some guy like Jay-Z as far as an entertainer. I mean, they put all that down. You go from one red flag to another. And then, if they've got, a name that doesn't, which I don't mind. People have their own cute names they use on Facebook and everything, and that's wonderful. It's great. But if you're going to do that, I wish people would at least announce their real name. If you're too paranoid to use it all the time, I mean, well, I'm not asking you to, but when you do your first couple posts, hey, this is so and so, my real name is so and so. I mean, nobody's in there looking for you from the FBI. And if you're that important to where you're on the run, if you're being hunted, if you're that important, well, then you got better things to do than to be posting. If you're that important to where you're that paranoid about giving your name a time or two,
Yes, well, I'm not looking for football teams and all that stuff, because if that's an American person, I would know so much about things like that, and I think that's the advantage I have being so far away. And uh, so that's your and Jason and Ciara's thing. I think you know much more about stuff like that than I do.
Well,
So
that's true.
when I'm looking, when I see a name of a person who wants to join the group, I'm getting up all the headline on the profile of that person and the name, and um, if I see a very hot topic, um, about, it could be politics, it could be religion, it could be science, it could be um, historical news or pictures, then I would allow that person into the group because of that person's interest. It could be art, it could be anything that resonates with my feelings towards this, and that's a deep knowing. That's a well that I'm taking these feelings from. It's from within my heart. And I could be wrong. We all could, because we're human beings and we cannot know everything about a new person that we have never seen before. But I think that's what's important is that we give everyone a chance from that point of view that we had. We will give this person a chance and see what this person is going to contribute to the group. And if there is no face, as you said, if there is no other thing, that a funny name and no picture and no headline, and having 2, 3 persons as a friend and no picture at all to go with, nothing on the timeline and nothing about this person. Being in the university of life, that could be well, that could be nice. I would see more of that, but that is somewhat not serious enough. And why should we allow someone, if that was your home, if that was someone knocking at your door and don't want to say why they're there, why they are at your door, what they want, and nothing about this person, and you cannot see their face, they're covering up their face, and, and would you invite a person like that inside your house?
No,
I don't know.
I don't think so either. And you know, Jane, you're right. We're not judging at all because, like you said, you're not concerned with necessarily what they got on their timeline. You're looking at the passion of what they're talking about. You're looking for any kind of a substance of any subject, and you're looking at their passion and their love. And I think our intuitions are pretty dang good about a lot of them. And you're right. And you wouldn't allow somebody like that into your home, and that is our home. You would not allow somebody like that into a Pleiadian city or collective at all. It's not that you wouldn't allow them. Their vibrations, if this were the real deal, the vibrations just wouldn't be allowed to exist in it. Okay, so if you're in there to start trouble, or even if you're somebody who's trying to remain anonymous or whatever and come into the group, well, then that's probably not the group for you, you know, to be completely anonymous in. I can understand people protecting themselves and their family or whatever, but I mean, let's get real a little bit. You don't have to have some weird, wacky, made-up name, 3 names, or you know, or whatever, or you know, it's just, you know, come in there and act like you want to be part of the collective and the family. You know, don't come in there. And so we have to assume without judgment that when we see this as admins that, okay, well, that person just isn't in our best interest, or there isn't ready. Well, we love them, but they're not ready for that high vibration yet. Because
Yes,
if they weren't, they wouldn't be, well, they wouldn't have the profile they do.
yes, I totally agree, and I think also I want to know. I just all I want to know is why do you want to, and that is giving me an answer. If you have something on your profile that's giving me an answer to why you want to get into the group, and a post that is scientific or historical is telling me something about your interests, and that is the interest that's that resonates with the rest of the group. So I want to know why, and I want to know also why is it that I feel like this, and sometimes I don't allow people into the group right away. But if I have any doubts, I'm leaving it. I'm not ignoring or deleting their requests. I'm leaving it to you or Sierra or any other admins. It could be Jason.
Yeah.
And I think also maybe you got different vibes. But then again, I don't have to answer for that person because I had a second thought about it, and I wasn't sure.
Well,
So
exactly.
I could very easily also set up an example for this. I had some friends going to town one evening, to my female friends, and they brought 3 guys. They called me and said, "Where are you awake?" As I said, "Yes, I'm awake," but I was on my way to bed. "We're coming over," and this was like 3 o'clock in the night.
Oh,
They had been on party. "We're coming over to your house," and I said, "Well, okay." Since that was them, and all of a sudden a guy from Texas was with them. Would you believe it? It was like craziness. And I didn't know this person, but because he knew my friends and they would allow him and trust him and the other 2 guys into my home, I ended up meditating with the guy sitting on my kitchen floor, and he was teaching me some stuff that I have never seen before. So you could be surprised positive about this situation. But
Yeah.
then again, you never know.
But your open, non-judgmental mind, see, knows that, and it's getting to be where your innate gathers that. And I've left a few people too for one of the other admins to look at, and it's not even, see, we're way all above passing the buck. It ain't even about that. And the rare times we do, you know, somebody, the chances are that the other admins have the same vibe too. And, you know, maybe they accidentally get let in or whatever. But, you know, I would say that we have an 80 to we have a 90% accuracy on our bad day, even as far as judging that goes, because we don't judge, but we have our BS detectors up, but we are all love and pure, so we know every possibility, and we weigh that, and we don't just look at one thing. Well, like you said, you'll go in and look and check things out and see what they have to say about this and that and what their family life's like or whatever, and you know, but I mean, it's got to be a few of those things that start adding up. Like you were saying to me, Jane, like I thought this was really non-judgmental and sweet. Like they may have some kind of a hard rock or weird picture that, you know, you may kind of question, but then you start looking and they're very passionate about their life, their family, and you're like, okay, well, this is probably a good person to be in the group. You know what I mean?
Yes, I remember there was a guy who was posting a request, and I thought, oh, what a weird face. He was all painted up, and he looked really very scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was scrolling his timeline, and I saw all these questions and all this about politics and history and this. Findings in the bottom of the sea and so many nice things, and I almost left him for someone else, and I was thinking, oh no, this guy is going into our Pleiadians.
Absolutely.
Yes, he had a weird name and a weird face, but then again, I double checked his timeline and I found him very, very interesting.
Yeah, because see, somebody that say, like, we could even go there, say somebody was going to be real deceptive like that and trying to get in, right? Okay, well, first of all, they wouldn't do it in this order. They wouldn't have a weird, so to speak, picture and all that, and then post a bunch of good, sweet, loving questions that are thought-provoking like that. You know what I mean? They just wouldn't do it. If anything, they might have a semi-nice picture and then get into all these questions about, what would you do if the NWO come to your door? What are you going to do to protect, or what, you know what I mean? You start getting into the undertones of people, and you can see this guy's posts were all, well, okay, he's probably a real cool, loving dude that just loves that kind of art and music, but other than that, he keeps that's his love, but he's star family oriented first, you know.
I was really surprised by myself because I was thinking, oh my God, that picture was so scary, and when I start looking at it, I was thinking, oh my God, that's really art. He has done so much color on this face, and it looks really like he's into the colors and into the. It looked scary, but then again, oh my God, that's real art. It's very interesting, and he got my intention. He got my I was thinking also about my interests.
That sparks something.
I started question myself all of a sudden, because it's what he's giving out to me and mirroring me, and and then again, we are working together as admins. We are different. We are in different levels. We are different aging, and we have different experience. We have different way of feeling things. Like we are by mind and by heart and by knowing and
yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting also.
I think it's interesting too, you know, the pictures, you know, like you said, you went and checked out things further. There's only, and we talked about this, I know, the other day privately, there's only a few rare, and I'm not going to give the example, a few rare circumstances of where I would ever just ban somebody because of their picture. I mean, but if I did, it would have to be something totally just gross and foul, and do you know what I mean? A devil with devil horns, or, well, that'd be the least of it. But a dead body or something that just has no. It wouldn't matter, see, Jane, to me, right? How like weird it looked, or maybe how bad it at the front of it. But if it's no creativity, like it's just something that looks dark and evil, and there's no, okay, well, it could be this or that. If it's just dark and evil or something vulgar, well, then it shows one, okay, well, I mean, there's no creativity to it. It's just there's no judgment about it, but there's no creativity, and then you kind of wonder, okay, well, we don't want that vibration in our group anyway. So, but I can't think of too many where I'd ban just on the picture. But they sure can be a red flag though, and there are things that need to be checked out. And if everything's cool, we let them in. Perfect example, you letting that guy in. So many groups would have not done it, period, or even done the footwork to check that out.
Yeah, and I think that's very important message to him as well. But I regret that I didn't tell him so. I should have left him a message in his inbox or something just to tell him the process of my head when I was and what I was going through in my head in my heart, because I was learning so much about myself, and as I initially said also here, was my patience to people.
Yes.
That was one of the things I was seeing that as my opportunity to learn more about. Being loving have always been one of my traits, one of my that's always been deep within me to every kind of person. But then again, I was learning much about art. All of a sudden, being conscious about what I was thinking, and if I was judging, because that was my first thought. That was my first thought when I saw the picture. I was judging, and that's what you do when you're an admin. Also, you're judging, and we shouldn't do that. But in this 3D world, in this duality, we are searching. I want as much people as possible into the group. That is my aim. But then again, because of the experience, and because there is so many, we are rapidly growing, and because there is so many people to take care of, to be, that's my family. I really feel for this family, and I don't want anyone to get hurt.
I don't either, and I even love it when other members of the group step up and they'll answer a question that maybe we don't have time for, or step in and they'll talk to somebody. The group members are just so wonderful, and our family's so great about doing that and taking care of these people and coming and answering a question. And the last thing we need is to have somebody come in there with a hidden agenda. And I'm not saying any judgment, but if you're applying to get in the group and your picture's weird, okay, fine, but then you go down the list and like we don't need to rehash all those other things we look at, but I mean, we have to wonder, even if we saw all that and they still are maybe a good person at heart, we have to wonder, well, what the hell are they wanting in the group for at that point? And maybe they're not ready for it. And I'm being really nice about that to cover all angles, but I think at our level of, we know of awareness. I mean, I can say without a doubt, I could go through thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of looking at somebody if I really wanted to take a look more so than I should, and I'd have about a 90% accuracy at least, and the rest that I didn't on, I think my innate maybe was telling me something that I didn't know, because I don't operate from judgment. It's just pure heart logic, but looking at everything, Yes,
I was thinking about another thing. Helping out the group is we have so many tasks, because we are when we are admins, we sit on each place in this world, literally. Thinking about Jason, he is in a totally different country, in different side of the world, and so are you from me, from my perspective. And I'm thinking about all these people we know of. They have different professions. They are high qualified in what they do, and I am sure that so many, if you ask one question, I'm sure that if they catch the post because of this group is so big, if they catch this post, I think they will have professional answers to what they're asking about.
Exactly. That's a really good point I hadn't thought of, and that's true. If enough time goes by and they have a chance to look at that post, I think anybody can get just about anything answered or like advice on it, and then it's a challenge for us as admins because we have to balance that with then a whole bunch of, just really cool posters that'll come in with some really great thoughts on them, and then those posters may be what does it for somebody and gets them to think about something. But so it's a fine line that we have to, look at. And I would just ask people that you're more than welcome to post anything that isn't negative or bad, but really think about what you're posting, and think about, why don't you go into the group and look at some of the other posts that are right there up towards the front, and look at what they're talking about. Is that a conversation maybe you can jump in on and talk about? Instead of just posting the kind of stuff, go in and talk to other people on their posts too. You post a couple things, and then go get involved in another conversation. There's plenty of them on the board. You can go all the way down the list till you find one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the bottom line, the basic thing in this group is, if you read up the rule, Leah put it in a wonderful way. She's really listing up what she wants and what she doesn't want, and for the better of the whole. And that is what we're working towards, to teach people that we are here for the whole. We are one. We are equal. But we don't want to set the vibrations down. We don't want anyone to be really badly hurt. We need someone to support, and we need to show off love, and we need to show off the compassion. And I think the first thing they need to do going into the group is, please, 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 everyone who's listening, read up the rules and try to remember. If you are just doubting a little bit of it, go back to Leah's post and see what is allowed and what is not. And then you can ask the admins also if this is okay or not. If you, that's so we don't really want to delete posts.
No.
But if it is not for the benefit of the whole, we will not have it there. If it is rude or very bad, we just cannot risk it.
We can't, and I think that's part of our growing process too. If anything, we're soft. Sometimes we just, gosh, we hate to have to delete somebody's post, or and we do, and we don't want to have to do that. Believe me, we do not want to have to do that. It's not, I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's true. It's ridiculous to have to do it, and and I don't like to, and even but when it's really negative, I kind of it doesn't really bother me anymore, because I realize that, hey, they're kind of being insulting to this group and coming in here and posting something like that, and it's not even about that. We just can't do it at this point and continue to allow anybody to try to lower the vibration. And like you just hit it on the head, because it was weird. I was thinking the same thing about Leah's rules, right? I mean, exactly. She lays them out the most beautiful I've ever heard, but then I look at it and I think, only 300 and so people have liked it out of 20,000 members. So you're looking at about a 1 in 7. I don't know that if they even read. I mean, you're looking at 1 in 50 people in that group have not read the rules of that group, and I would go to my grave right now saying that. If you were to take a poll and people to be really real, 1 out of every 50, I doubt that many have read those rules of hers on the pin post, or read her pin post even, really. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just saying, that's how I feel,
Coming into the group as a new member, you would at least know what the group is all about. You want to know what is the first question when I'm asked, what are you doing up so late? And this is small. It's a small village, and I'm living close to my job, and when there's night shifters driving past me in the night, They're seeing the lights from our windows, and they're wondering, what are you doing up so late in the night? Well, guess what? I'm into this group, and I'm going on all night long because I'm not tired. I'm not sleepy. I like it, and I'm thinking also this work with the group is giving me joy. It's
Yes,
exciting, and
exactly.
it's driving me towards new knowledge and
Mhm.
new ways of seeing things. And people are asking me, yeah, what are you working with? With the Pleiadians. And what is the Pleiadians? And that's the first thing they want to know. I think it's very important coming into the group as a new member. You need to know what is the Pleiadians and what is it? What are we doing? What do we want? What are we working with? Have a look, have an overview, and read Leah's post. Read about it.
Exactly. And some people may be in the group that don't, they hear the name and they just think, oh, this is a cool group. But I'm telling you, no judgment, but I'm telling you, if somebody like that and they just didn't want to take the time to look into it, look into it. You're going to be really interested what you find out, and go onto YouTube and find out about it. I mean, and I'm not one to just tell people that, oh, well, you ought to look into this, you ought to look into that. No, this is something different. This is the future. This is like, these are our star brothers and sisters. And if you really want to hear some pure wisdom truth without judgment, but yet all knowing, hey, take a chance, look at it, and and read the post. I always, when I go into a new group, except for maybe some I'm added to that I don't participate in, if I'm interested in posting in that group, I want to know what the description is and the rules. That's the
Of
first thing
course,
I look at.
you want to know what it's all about. And I think also, if you don't know what Pleiadians is, if you don't know what Pleiades is,
Yeah.
you really, you don't go into a group without
Hmm.
knowing how to explain to other people what you're doing and what the Pleiadians is all about. I found myself as an admin having great. It's nothing wrong about it. I find myself as an admin in trouble trying to explain to other people what the Pleiadians, but that's because we're so um, we're,
Diverse and
we're so
big.
everything. Yes,
We're into, I don't mean to say big, big like a bad way, but we're into everything. I mean, you know what? You just hit it, Jane, on a few topics like that when I'm asked something that direct. Man, because I can't, because I'll either want to start, I'm thinking, God, I don't have anything to say, or yet, where do I start? I have to be here all month writing a, because if I'm going to go there, I'm going to go there. But it's like, these are little things that people can check out for themselves. I mean, the resources are out there. Go look it up if you want to know. I mean, I think it's kind of insulting to sit and ask that in the group to somebody, what's a Pleiadian, please? Well, okay, well, if you want to know a particular thing about them, fine, but don't ask what it is. I mean, that'd be like asking what is, oh, I don't know. That'd be like asking what is God? What is air? I mean, it's so vague that it's like, okay, and insulting, because you know damn well that they could Google it in 2 seconds and get a million thousand answers, or go to
I
YouTube.
I have one answer for everyone who is wondering what the Pleiadians is. You can say two words: prime creator.
Yeah.
That is the answer.
That's the only really, you know what, and true, and the thing about it is, the ironic thing is, that's really the only two words you could give them, because if they're not willing to go already look that one little thing up, then that's the only answer you can give them. And this is not to say, if somebody asked you outside, like that you knew a personal family member or somebody in another group you guys were talking about that wasn't related to Pleiadians, fine, you can try to answer that. But if you're going to come into the Pleiadians group and ask that one question without something general about it, it's really ridiculous. I mean, that'd be about the most ridiculous thing you could ever do, is go into the Pleiadians and ask what one was, without expanding on that, or without having the consciousness, or the or the sense to go look it up when you could go. I don't care who was in that group. If it was every Pleiadian expert you'd ever had, you're going to get more information quicker by going and Googling it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you know, and why should you belittle somebody by just asking them what are the Pleiades? What are the Pleiadians? In that group, I'm talking people in this group particular, in a Pleiadian-oriented group. Okay, have something you can ask particular questions about, and we'll answer those all day long or try to. But if you're just going to ask what one is, I mean, that'd be like asking what is a human. I mean, well,
I was, you saying that led me to the thought of what you were saying to me in a private conversation once. You and Jason were talking about the admins being creative, and I haven't seen anything of it yet, and I know I should be working on it. It was about people are also asking, how do you know that you're a Pleiadian?
yeah.
And that's a common question. I was thinking about the top 10 or 20 most common questions. Do you remember we were talking about that?
Yes, and I do, and I thought it was a great point. You mean like those common questions, like have a list of 10 to 20 or however many are worthy that say that we've all, yes, admins, we've all heard asked a ton of times, and that maybe we're, you know, and, you know, we're human too. Are we sick of answering? No, but you got to understand when you come in there and ask something like this, or another thing that really I would like to see a standard answer they could just refer to somewhere for, because I won't even myself even bother to answer it unless I really feel like I need to with somebody. They'll ask, well, how do I know what star race I am? How do I know if I'm a Pleiadian? How do I know I feel this and do this, and how do I know this? See, at that point, that person is still so caught up in a label, especially after they've, well, I've looked into this, I might be this, I might be that. Well, okay, the galaxy is vast. You know that. It's so vast that, and people, there's mixed races, there's all kinds of things out there, and really, if you start dwelling on that, you're just hung up on a name for the coolness of it. You know what I mean? I mean, goodness is goodness and love is love. But the point we're trying to make is that, you know, if it's something simple, please try and Google it first. I mean, we're talking about questions that you could go get a million answers that are right on before any of us could help you with it. Like, what are the Pleiades? Where am I from? How do I know I'm a starseed? How do I know this? How do I know that? Okay, those are all good questions, and we all probably wanted to know them at first too. I know I did. But you know what? I'd already researched this stuff. I couldn't get enough of it. I was into it so much that I took 2 seconds to Google it, and most of these people that are asking are so young that I can't imagine that they operating a computer is something they could do in a coma or Google it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'd hate to be harsh, but I mean, this is the reality of it, and, you know, it's no judgment, but my God, I mean, don't insult, you know, it's kind of insulting when people will ask something like that in a way and they don't mean to be. It's like, what? Let's see. It just kills me because the reality of it is they could get a hell of a lot better answer and a lot quicker with those little vague questions. I'm not talking about something that's deep, but something vague like that is, you know, it's like asking, how far is it from Oslo to Stockholm? I mean, well, Google it and you know quicker than Jane could tell you. Well, maybe.
Yes, even, and I can say something about how I got to the Pleiadians. It was something that made me really touched my heart really deep,
Cool.
because I'm an Arcturian soul, and I have been into the Arcturian group with Marco Bianco and,
Yes.
those people, and I
Yes.
was going into YouTube and found this videos, Bringers of the Dawn,
Mm.
1 to 16. That was the first thing that hit me, and I used so long time listening to this the 16 videos, and it gave me so many answers, and aha, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, for the first time in like your life, and I know you're nobody's fool, but did you hear some of that stuff and we're like, whoa, where's this been my whole life?
Yes, that, and also there's another one, Bringers of the Dawn, from 1 to 23, 4, 5, 6, or something like that.
Yeah, the whole thing you can get together. By the way, just not to interrupt you, but what you're talking about, yes, you can get in all those parts on YouTube too. Like there's a video with all of them together. But yes, definitely, the whole thing's like 3 hours. But my goodness, you can never get enough of that.
No, it's so much information, and I'd be glad going through that again, because it's lifting you up and it's giving you very good vibrations, and it's also um, if you're only listening to that one time, you will forget so many
Oh
things.
man, I know.
History of the Pleiadians within that, and so many good ideas, and so much you can if you listen to that, it will give you so many answers.
Every sentence, every sentence, every minute point could be a whole almost book in itself in that. Now that's the kind of thing you would read once or twice and get it all, but this, you just can't. There's so much to it. Yes, you can listen to it all the way through a few times, right? But you come back to it, you're going to start finding more and more stuff, because your brain is only listening to certain things, and you're so in that aha cool moment over you just heard this, then you're not hearing the next point.
Yes, exactly.
That's how vast and incredible and mind-blowing it is, that it just you couldn't put it into words. And like I said, I'm not one to just believe in anything. I've never been anybody's fool, but when I had my first contact and I started looking into the Pleiadians, like you when you were looking into them, yeah, it just resonates with you so much, and you're like, wow. And it's like the truth, and it's like, well, where has this been? The Pleiadians have always been there, but isn't it funny you don't find their stuff until you're meant to?
Yeah, how synchronicity.
It is, because they're there, exactly. There's no rhyme or reason why I didn't already know of them, and exactly. And that story, time and time again, in that book too, they predict everything that she predicted has came true, but it wasn't like Nostradamus bullshit type of prophecies. It was innate possibilities, and Cryon did the same thing back in those days too, when Cryon started. Back before there was Bashar, who's great by the way, and others, but they gave innate possibilities, and these things have happened, and they weren't like predicted, like, oh, this is going to happen and this and this. They just told you that, be aware of this. This is going to happen. This is how society is going to shift. And if this happens, this will happen. And, these were all innate timeline possibilities they gave without judgment. And look, it's happened.
And also, the Bringers of the Dawn and this YouTube stuff, talking about awkward stuff and things that many people don't want to see or bring up, because it's a common thought is that's going to be dirty, or along the way it's going to be dirty, or it's going to be too challenging, or it's going to be too much of a task. But those videos is bringing up sexuality in a beautiful way, and it also try to apply also different tasks that you can take on to. That's okay. It's very private in some sort of way, but we are human beings, and we are built upon the same material. That's how we function, and it takes up stuff like this is how you are built. With this vessel, with this human body, you can do this or that, and it combines with your mind and how to work on different things. It could be that you have been insulted or hurt, and why? Why is it that way? You get even answer to those questions, and how you can really how you can really, because you can be a person also that, oh, that doesn't apply to me, but all of a sudden the way that is brought up is applying to you, that it's really you. It's and you haven't thought about this possibility, and it's done in such a loving way, and it's explaining why you have these and that kind of problems or needs, and that is natural. It is natural, and there's nothing wrong with you.
Nothing.
But this and that is why it's happening to you, and all of a sudden you feel that this kind of love and understanding,
Yes.
and all of a sudden you accept yourself as being not a total um, way of what you have the possibilities to be.
And no judgment. And yeah, God, that's
Yes.
you are an Arcturian soul. That is the perfect way I've ever heard that book described, and the intricacies and the non-judgmental loving in there, and the things that they bring up that allow that tell anybody, hey, you are in control. You are your own. You know what I mean. You are your own person, and you shouldn't be ashamed of anything like that. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sexuality, and the way she puts it, and I think it's in her second book, she talks about. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I don't discuss my sexuality on air and like what I like and stuff. But the way she talks about a man honoring a woman and the bonding between the two of them, it's just so sensual and so, man, I always thought in my innate, I wish it was that way. But we're so stuck in society of having these hang-ups and afraid to be who we are, that it plays a mind game on us. And her book and her words make us feel like we can be who we are, and that's pure love to ourselves. And when we do that and really love ourselves, it's not selfishness, but then we love it. That loves the whole universe and everybody around us, and that energy just it ignites a spark, and it
Yeah,
loves
when
people.
you say love yourself, it's like they're also saying it's not hopeless. You are not the first person on the planet who have been going through this.
Yes, in a loving way, they tell you that. Yes.
Uh, the moon and the sun and God doesn't see anything new upon this planet. That it hasn't been going on for such a long time, and you're not the only one who feels like this. Be glad. Think about yourself. Love yourself more. Do not give up. You are a fighter. You are not here without a reason. You are here because you're strong enough. You are here you have agreed upon, you have made a contract agreeing upon who you are going to meet and why. You are going to go through these tasks, and if you're not responding accurately to it, you will be given this task over and over and over again until you learn. And being loving to yourself, allowing yourself to do these mistakes,
Yes.
is making you grow. And you will meet people who will be not so loving to you, but you have made an agreement with exactly
Mhm.
that person in which in who you don't feel very happy to meet, because it doesn't he or she doesn't give you anything but hardship. You should bow very deeply that you have met this person and thank this person, because that person is who you made you to what you are and who you are today, even stronger than ever before.
Exactly, and that's the humbleness getting to that point. But it's true though. It really is true, and then you can slip back into 3D and think, well, that person, this or that. But really, and in reality, boy, even some of the worst people we've been around, it's so true. That was the reason. You know what I mean? It set that stage for later to help you on later in life, and those experiences get you to see things in a whole new way. And some of the bad things we went through in our life, well, all of them have been learning experiences, hopefully, because as you know, even in 3D life, you repeat them again. If you don't get it the first time, you do repeat them again, much less in another life, which you will. And it's not to put the pressure on people and go, oh, well, if I don't do just everything right, I'm going to have to come back and do it again. No. But at the end of the day, if at the end of the day you could if you could at the very least sincerely know that you got it, and that's good enough. But you have to get it and understand why you did what you did and why it went down like that, and take that into consideration. And it's a school.
We are masters. We are here for our master degree, and we don't really know. We don't really so many people don't really understand how great they are.
They're not here to. They're not here to learn. Nobody out there listening right now. I'm going to tell you right now, straight up. If you never believed anything in my life, believe what I'm going to tell you right now. You are not here to learn anything new. Period. You're here to remember. And like Jane said, you are actually a master now, going for your PhD, your doctorate. That's what you're doing. You really are. You're not here to. There's nothing ever you're going to learn new here. And what I mean by that is, what you're going to do is you're going to remember it. Your light-coded filaments are awakening in your body. Your body's shifting. You're going to remember these things, and you'll know it when it hits you. You'll be like, aha, even if you can't remember where you learned it, and probably another lifetime, probably before you came here, but you're here to remember.
Yes, and I think it's important to understand also that if you, like me, and I'm an Arcturian soul, so I know with myself that I'm not here only to learn and ascend into 5D. I'm here to learn and ascend my other being also. I'm several at the same time. I'm in different levels at the same time. And it's extremely important to understand that you're not ascending to only one level. It's just like you made this contract and to ascend into 5D.
Yeah.
It's different levels in 5D, and it's also another part of you that agreed upon having this experience as a human being in this body, in this time, to learn something that makes you ascend from 5D to maybe 6D and different levels of 6D.
Yes.
And even higher. And you made this contract just to do that, to have this understanding, because you need to have this understanding on Earth, which is a very dense planet. It's a very duality, and it's very slow, and it's all that. And many people are not conscious about it. And we need to know also that, as I said earlier, it was about turning hate to love, because an understanding that these terrible things that happened to you was because, and you have probably also been doing the same, ending up in the same shit, but even deeper from every time you have been into this different situation. But
Yep.
that was the only way of reaching it, because you couldn't understand it and you didn't learn from it the first time. So you had to have it harder and more terrible just to get to the state that you are today, or to the place that you are becoming, to the beautiful person that you are about to create yourself.
You will learn one day, yes, there's a reason for this, you know, to become that beautiful person. And you know, and that's just the way that it is. That's the way it goes. It's not unfortunate, but it's how it goes. You go through that to learn your lessons. And you know, people may say, oh, well, that's messed up. And well, no, it just is what it is. And you know, if you're not to the point now where you can accept that, well, you know, there again, somebody else probably shouldn't be in the group who's not at that level yet to accept that things go on like that. And then if you've been really a victim of a lot of that stuff, if you really think you were a victim, well, take a good look at the situation. And I'm not saying, well, what I would have done or what you should have done, but look at maybe one little thing you could alter next time in that same situation, and see if it makes a difference. And it might. And yeah, exactly. We're multidimensional beings at the very least. And like you're talking about, you know, you got Earth Human Jane, you got Pleiadian Higher Self Jane, and you got Arcturian Over Self Jane, and who knows what else. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg. And at the very least, we're all multidimensional beings. I mean, that's a given with endless parallel realities. Okay, I mean, life is like that, and people that don't think about this kind of stuff are really, well, it's too bad. It's not really their fault. It's not an intelligence issue. It's an awareness and a consciousness issue, and everybody wakes up when they're supposed to, and everybody goes through what they're supposed to. You know, it just can be frustrating, I know, for some of us that these things don't even run across the mind of, like, it's hard for me to believe there's still people living in the Western world, your country, my country, Jane, and stuff, that still are into that, going home and watching TV and, you know, doing the thing that we were all doing in the 80s and 90s and 70s, you know, when you were growing up. And I mean, it blows my mind that there's, and even though I see it, it's hard for me to believe people still do that, but they do.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think also it's very important to make people understand that being on this earth as at this time in a human body, in this density, in this 3D level, it's also we have to know our task in this way. It makes it much more easier to understand that you're not to have all the answers. You're not to. Why do you question everything all the time? Why do you need to search for the answers to everything all the time? We are here to observe, to experience, and to expand.
You
We
have all
are
the answers,
we
yeah.
are designed in this body to have all this knowing and knowing. You don't have to know where you're going at. You just have to see what you're meeting and meet it in the way you want to meet it, because
Yeah.
every part of you are experiencing everything. Say if you go to town today, you will have someone talking to you, and you will give this person one answer, and then you will be thinking, what if I gave that person the other answer? Well, know this: the other you is having the other experience, so don't worry about it.
Yes, and for every other decision you didn't make, you're having that experience too, and so on and
Yeah.
so on and so on. Which at the end of the day, I mean, practically by the time you're 10 years old, you've probably got a trillion parallel realities, and don't get hung up in also wanting to know the exactly like. It's one thing to be curious and inquisitive, and if you are, go do the research on your own and go look this up. I mean, people will ask, how do I know if I'm a Lyran? How do I know if I'm from an Orion? How do I know if I'm Arcturian? How do I know if I'm Pleiadian? Well, you know what? If you want a generic answer like that, there are a million, and they're good, by the way, resources to go look at some of the traits. And then when you see them, don't think, well, because I was only 14 or 15 of them, I'm not that. Well, it's not even about that it's that. Okay, I mean, don't get hung up on a name ever. That's the most ridiculous thing you can do, is get hung up on it. And I don't mean like look into the name, but at the same time, don't just say, well, I'm this or I'm that, and I think I'm this or I'm that. Well, are you? You know within your innate if you are or not. You
Yeah,
know?
it's just like asking Jane, why are you a witch? Are you a white witch or are you a black witch? Do you do black magic or do? It's like I don't need the label witch, even though I know that this is terms they use,
Yeah.
names they use to explain what I am, who I am, and what I'm doing. Okay, if you want that term, that to be me. Okay, that name on it's okay, but I know also that history. And by the way, you also need to know that you have an oversoul. You have a person that is a higher ascended you, that knows everything, and it leads to, if you're listening to your to your oversoul, and that might be your intuition or an inner voice. That leads you to, should I go this direction or that direction? You will be led to, if you know how to tap into this, and knowing your oversoul, you will choose the direction, and this oversoul will lead you to different situations that you have made this contract before you came to this planet to have tasks to do. You are here to expand and observe and experience all these things. Don't worry, it's not going to kill you.
Nope.
It's going to teach you something. And if that's the end of your life on this level of consciousness and this body, that is also a thing that you have done a contract on,
That you have
because
a plan.
then you're finished with your tasks on this, with what you came here to do.
And
That's
that's fine. And we all have our rate of growth. And it's like, even for me, sometimes I have to be a little bit humble because, like we talked about, all these questions that people have, just the basic, simple, vague ones that are so hard to they're so easy to know, but they're so hard to answer. It's like I did all this research for months and months on my own that I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And the little questions like that, because there's a million answers out there. And you wonder, somebody just comes into the group, it's kind of lazy to just come in and ask one of those questions vaguely when you know. And then again, I've told people too, like that there's all kinds of resources out there, and they thanked me, they just didn't know. So that's another thing too. But I think what we're trying to tell people too is, if you just have a vague question like that, trust me, you're going to get a lot. If you're truly in it to know it, if you truly are, you're going to get a lot better answers and a lot more of them quicker. I wouldn't say better, but you're going to get a lot more of them quicker than we have the time to give you too.
Yeah, and I'm also preparing to having echo here. It's really hard. I hope it doesn't. Thing, but
You're there.
yeah, I talked many times, and the reason explaining things here is very much way than.
Hello? Yeah, it kept cutting out for some reason. It kept flashing back. Yeah, go ahead, Jane. And yeah, you. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that guitar is one of the videos I'm trying to use for different kind of questions because he's explaining things much better than I can, and English is not my language that I grew up with, so I'm not very good at it, and I'm sorry if some people don't understand what I'm saying.
You sound great to me. I think you sound great. You sounded really wonderful in the round table that you and Jason and I had, and that shows your humbleness to say that. But you are one of the most articulate people I've ever heard talk in my life, and I think your accent is beautiful. And there's a lot of people from Norway in these groups. There's a lot of people that probably can't understand the American accent or wherever the accent is. We do the best we can with each other, and I think we're moving towards telepathy and our hearts connecting with each other, and not so much just blah 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 Earth 3D language. And people need to realize and understand that, and understand that we are all one collective, and you need to try to love yourself and work on yourself, and don't be afraid to love yourself, and you'll let your light shine for other people. You're more infinite and powerful than you can ever imagine, and that's just the truth about it. I don't say that with any emotion right now or any, oh, that's great or oh, that's bad, but it's just the truth, It really is the truth.
Yeah, the synchronicity, well, that same thought on in different countries. So many times I've seen it with different people saying what I was thinking just moments ago, and also me saying things that they have been thinking moments ago, and also the three of us or four of us or five of us have been thinking at the same time. That shows also that we have that we are into this ascending symptoms. We are into a telepathically gift coming up.
I agree. I think that's, and the Pleiadians have shared with me too, that's the bridge we're on right now. I mean, look at the synchronicities that are just every day they're increasing. You're thinking of the same thing that I'm thinking of, and other people are thinking of the same thing. And if we didn't right now, we did yesterday, or we will tomorrow. And I mean, it's just the examples they're staggering. I mean, it's so undeniable now that it wouldn't, most people wouldn't believe it if they weren't, that it could be that way, but it is. And yeah, it's unreal, and it's just awesome, and it's exciting that we're coming up on that, and that's what we're going through right now, and I just want to tell everybody out there that I love them, and and everything like that, and we just want you're our brothers and sisters, and we just want the best for you, and like you, we would hope you want for us, because we are all one. And and we're just saying we're here to help you with any questions or concerns you may have. If it's something real vague, like what is this or what is that, without really you asking anything else to it, well, look it up first, and check it out and do the research, which wouldn't take a whole heck of a lot of research to do. I mean, it'd be quicker than you could get a straight answer from, any of us when we're really busy and trying to do a lot of things on there, unless, now if it's a question that's going to provoke some thought and a food for thought and a big discussion that's going to help some people, I think it's great, and we do see that a lot of the times. But the questions that, like, how do I know I'm a starseed? How do I know I'm this or that? Those things, you need to have a little bit more substance behind it then, because you could go get your answer, from somewhere else, and then don't just say, well, don't come back and go, well, but it said this and it said that. I was part of them, but I'm part of that, and I think I'm part this and part that. Well, we couldn't give you any more straighter answers than that. Within your innate what you are, or what you think you are. The most ascended being on earth could not tell you on a vague question like that anything that you didn't already know.
Yeah. But then again, different levels of consciousness. And talking about the admin, I think also it's important to understand that I don't want people to feel helpless and lonely because of this, and I don't want people. I want also people to understand that it has been a long road to go, and we have done much research and so much meditation, and being also thinking about using time, make your own time, go to the nature, meditate. It's not selfish thing to do. Sometimes you need to be alone, and that's fine, that's okay. It's coming. You just need to look into stuff, as you say also, Larry, and spend much time to yourself and connect with Mother Earth. I think that's why we're also vibrating in such a high level, because I think it's important to know yourself, because within yourself you can find all the answers. You already know this. It's just you're just here to be reminded of it, and you agreed upon not being taken, that this knowledge have been taken away from you for a while, and there is things in this level of 3D. You're here to be reminded of by fellow beings, and the fellow beings is everyone around you. But of course, the admins in the group can do very much things also. And I urge people to seek help and ask. Don't hesitate to ask. It's very important.
It's very important. We're here to help and ask any questions that you might want to know. Just understand that we've got things going on there too, and we'll talk with you if it's really worthy and you need that. We will each individually talk with you, even privately, till the cows come home. But at the same time, try to look into a few of these initial questions, and then maybe you can come back and say, well, I was reading this and I found this interesting, and can you expand on that a little bit more for me? That is more likely to draw a very positive dialogue, and get a good conversation going than just asking the same old stale question over and over again. Because you got to understand, you come in just asking that one question. You haven't done any research. You don't bother to. I mean, wouldn't you think for 2 seconds that somebody's asked that question before? Like every single one of us has, to at least ourselves. We've all asked that to ourselves, but we went and did the research back in the day too, when there wasn't as much research to be done on this, and the younger people already get a lot more than even we do, but they're not awakened to that yet. So they need to understand that whatever, Jane and I had to go through, or Jason or Leah, the years and years and years of this. They don't have to do that. The information's all right there for them to know it now, because innately they're awakened to it inside. All they need is a couple triggers, and geez, no time at all you'll be surpassing us. Okay, but the thing is, yeah, I mean, so take that to heart. It's not people before you guys out there were the pioneers, and we put in extra work, and because we had to, and we were glad to do it. But know that all the outlets are there for you to know within a night. I mean, if you were really serious about it, you could go you could practically learn everything about this in a night, or not in everything, but you would get a very, very basic feel and be like a seasoned person with this knowledge almost. It's just out there. You just use a little discernment and a little a little research and time.
Yeah, and I think also people asking different kind of questions. I think it would be also very highly respected if you show off what you have done to research and to find the answer, and even post it if you think that's the right thing. If you think you have found the answer to your question, you can post it and ask people, what's your take on it? You
Yes.
might even find that you are a teacher, or you are being taught by someone because you made an effort to do it.
Exactly. And be humble about it too. Ask that question, and I would expect people responding to a question like that, where they gave what they found too. I would expect people to be polite and just say, don't say that what they know is the truth. Say that, this is what I've experienced. That's the best way to go about it, because you'll get a lot of times, and we've talked about this before, post a video or something, you'll post a video, I will, or Jason will, or, Leah maybe, and people will damn well they haven't watched 2 seconds of the video, and they'll shoot right back with a comment, well, boo, this is what I think of, or this is how it is, or this is what it's meant to be, or, okay, even if they're 100% right, I don't even pay attention to it, because they haven't even, I know damn well that they haven't given that respect to the poster to watch his video. Okay, or at least they could sit there and say, yeah, I've watched this video before really closely, and this is my take on it. That would be good. But people will just jump right in with, well, this is how it is, and it's not. They won't even say, well, this is my experience. They'll say, well, this is how it is. Well, when you say this is how it is, you might as be as ignorant as a fly, because how do you don't know that. To just say that, we don't know anything here on Earth as far as how the whole universe works really at all. And the moment you think you know anything, just when you think you know the answer, forget it. The question is different. That's just how it is. And I think that's another thing too, is be respectful of people's posts. When they post a video, don't just shoot right back in a second with a comment saying, oh, well, this is how it is, or whatever, maybe give an opinion, but have some respect and at least watch the video if you're going to give a comment, really. And I know a lot of people don't do that, and it's sad. I mean, at least give, unless you completely know for sure and you're coming at it with some degree of wisdom, like maybe one of us admins, maybe Marianne Rada, maybe Leah, people, lots of other people too, but don't just come right up in there and give oh, well, this is how it is. Watch the video, and then you give your take on it, but don't act like that's how it is. Act like that's just your opinion, because that's really all that it is from what you've experienced. Now, that's your truth, but your truth doesn't make it the same as somebody else's on a separate growth path. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's all that, again, we are all into this again, my truth and your truth, and everything is the truth, because everything is the truth. There is no my truth and your truth, and
That's true.
everything in the universe, everything is the truth, because there is no new thought.
Right.
There is nothing new. A thought is not you are not an inventor on thought.
You're a rememberer.
Are already recognized, and all the thoughts we are creating different stuff out from thoughts that already existed.
Exactly.
And we know also that the more you study deeply, the more you understand, and the more you see that that you don't know. And that's really very frustrating. The more you study, the more. That's why we have scientific research, because they know that they don't know, and they want to get into it more. They want to have a look at it again, over and over again. And even even in the science today, they have discovered things. They have been marrying to both the religions and to the history, and it's all adding up together.
And it
And we're
always has, yeah.
getting closer and closer to things, and we just don't know. We just don't understand. That's the thing. There is much more to it
Oh, wow,
than we can
totally.
ever think of. The energy is, if you want the answer to everything, that's energy.
Yes,
Energy
consciousness and
and
energy,
sound.
that's all there is.
Energy, sounds, and colors is all together.
Yes,
It's one.
totally.
You can even see colors as sound and the other way around.
Yes, exactly. You really can, and even the feel of them. Even supposedly, there's a different feel to these colors and the vibrations of them. And and it used to be back in the day where scientists, it was either one side or the other. You either had the scientists that thought their way, or the religious doctrine people that interpret it their way. And what a bunch of ignorant, sorry to say it at the time, what a bunch of ignorant fools to just even think that it wasn't a mix between the two. Because since I was 4 years old, the two go hand in hand, and how could they not?
And the colors, by the way, I have seen more colors that I knew that I ever could dream of existed. I
Yes, lately.
It's amazing. I thought it was just a spectrum of colors that I have seen with my eyes, and when I shut my eyes, that what I can see within my eyelids, it's amazing. There is colors that I have never ever seen in my life before, and I cannot express it by
No,
mixing colors together with the existing colors that is on this planet today, because it's a mixture of light
the
and colors, and you just cannot mix it. There
nope.
is no
They're
color.
iridescent. They're kind of an iridescent, super psychedelified, but way more intense than that. And it's something that's been hitting the earth starting a couple years ago when we've made this move as we're transitioning, from higher third, which we're in the, I think we're in the fourth now, just about the whole planet, but transitioning from that up into the higher fourth to the fifth. This is going to happen, Jane. And the Pleiadians, this is one of the big things they've told me. There's going to be new colors hitting the earth, not just new colors, but they're going to be in different texture, kind of plasma type looking, just colors you couldn't even think of. And you wonder, well, how could there be a color I've never thought of? Well, because you've never thought of it. It'd be like thinking, well, how could they make up another letter for the English alphabet? Well, you wouldn't think so, but then again, if you've never heard the sound or heard of it, yes, they definitely could. And it's true about the colors, you're right. And that's the first thing, one of the first things people notice when they're really starting to evolve and vibrate on a higher level, especially these last couple of years, is you see these colors. And I'm glad you brought that up because, wow, it's so true. I'm glad I brought up what I did to get you to bring up what you did, and it's true. And now, Jane, you think that it's only been the last couple of years you've noticed these colors in your life?
Yes, definitely, yes. Yes, absolutely. Have you ever thought about, this is a question for everyone. Have you ever thought about transparent colors?
Yes.
Can you ever imagine how transparent colors in different spectrums is coming up?
You're
It's
brilliant. That's
really
exactly
amazing.
what I was trying to say. Exactly. You're right. And then you go ahead, Jane. But yeah, that's exactly what people need to hear this. Yes.
Just try to expand and dream about it. Allow yourself to let every imagination, allow everything. Don't Don't reject anything. Just allow everything to come to your mind. Just
Yeah.
allow it. Because I think that we haven't been allowing this to come to our mind. Everything is allowed. There is no limits. There is no restrictions. You are allowed to be a creator. So go on, just create it. Because that too is true.
It is, and look at these things that you start to find when you start doing that. I mean, these iridescent colors and transparent colors, and then other things. You're almost letting your mind go into that higher state of consciousness and working on it, going to that higher, next dimension up. You're actually manifesting, transforming into that.
If you can imagine also colors, transparent colors vibrating into, touching into other colors. Can you imagine what kind of colors you can come up with? You can come up with colors that you have never seen before. Just vibrating. If you can see a line vibrating into another line and aligning this two together, it's vastness of light and darkness into these colors. And darkness is also colors. You can see colors in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, truly amazing.
It really is, and like you said, it's not, it's a mixture of these colors, but on the other hand, too, it's also the higher vibration. It's all these things, the transparency, the vibration, it's everything going into that makes these new style of colors, these new mixture of colors, and it's a new style too. Well, if you want to put it in 3D terms, it's a new style than we're used to, because our mind's vibrating at a higher level and more aware and more awakened. So these colors are becoming more fluid too, like everything is in the air, like everything is becoming more lighter and fluidity. Well, colors are doing that too.
Yes, exactly. And if you can put them also into vibrations in water, liquid, because liquid is a clue word to almost everything that is. Because and I think it's very important. The reason why we're at this now is also about the admins in the group, and also about all the members and all the new members and all the humanity and the earth. Um, it is because we're touching into, to keep the red thread in this conversation from where we started on this conversation, is that the colors is you and me and all of us, and we are one. It's all together and in different levels. That's why I want, this is a kind of art. You are art, I am art. I am all, you are all, we are one. And all this is allowed because all this is one consciousness. It's like being in one body with one thought, being millions, billions, and infinite cells together, having one thought.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
that's how great we are.
And when you think about it and put it that way, and imagine the color and the vibrations that many different styles would bring together in one collective. It's just amazing. I mean, the possibilities are endless beyond endless beyond endless. It's and you just take your own human body, a person's own 3D body. Well, in the right cloning or development, one of your cells can make up another you, and they just keep reproducing and reproducing. So you're right, we're all just one of a trillions of cells in this one big body, or endless number of cells that can make, each one of those cells can make another endless number of cells. You know what I mean? And on and on and on and on. It's creation.
And allowing bad and good things, and trying to accept and understand everything. That's the real challenge that we all have in the group of this collective consciousness.
Yes.
Is allowing and understanding and accepting, respecting everything that is into love. Transfer it all into love, and you have all this, you have everything, you have all together. And that is the beauty of every single person coming to the group. And that's what makes me feel alive and in love with the group and with people. And that's why I think this, if you want to call it a job, it's a task, it's a title, or whatever you want to call it. I
Mission.
call it being human being.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. That breaks it down really great. That's exactly what it is. It's about the love. I mean, we get as much from this group as anybody does. I mean, this is our passion, and these people are our passion. You know, forget about it a second for the name of the group. I mean, these people, our family, our star family, are our passion. You know, there are people where are there people where there are people. We're all one collective, if you know what I'm saying. And it's just, yeah, I mean, we really are all one. I hate to keep using that as a cliche, but it's so true. You know, I mean, when you get up to the source, we're all one body with infinite cells, like each of our bodies are. Each of our bodies are an extension of that. We are all that within ourselves, even, and people need to realize that. And that doesn't mean you're better than anybody, because we're all that great. We're all more powerful beyond belief than you can imagine.
I think, yes, I think you're very right in everything you say, and I think also it's very important to for every one of every single one. It's very important to act from your highest excitement. What excites you most of all?
Yeah.
Because if you can resonate with uh, acting, being excited, um, everything that you are excited about and trying to do the most of, um, is giving you more. It's giving you more excitement. The more you go into stuff, uh, the quicker the time is going and the younger you get. Well, I know that 20 years old doesn't want to get younger, but you will stay young. You won't grow old. Being excited is the secret of youth, I think.
It really is, and hence stay with what you're excited about. And you know excited when you're excited for the right reasons. It's something you're passionate about, that you love, you know, that drives you like that. Stick with it in some way, or don't give it up till you're done resonating with it. I mean, stick with that passion, and eventually it'll lead to bigger passions.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It will lead you into other excited things to do. It will lead you to when you're done with one, the other one is coming, and it will lead you to amazing things. Yeah.
And it can open up doors for you that you could have never imagined, and a wild card will show up and change your life for the better, or just change a situation for the better from some direction you could have never seen. And it's just amazing.
It's just one thing. It's one hatch with it because I think most of people don't believe it. You have to believe it. That's very important. You have to believe it. Um, Once you get into the just think about it. The more you think about it, the more you believe it, and the more you believe it, the more you will see it.
Yes.
You truly believe it. Don't get into this evil circle of yeah, there you go, it didn't happen. It didn't happen again. And I've seen this before, and I'm sure if I do this, it won't happen. So I'm leaving it to somebody else to do. You're so close to reaching the point of the highest excitement and a true gift. And I think so many people are giving up, nearly reaching it, very close reaching it, just a little bit more step and they will give up. And they were closer than they ever knew.
Exactly. They're giving up 5 minutes before the miracle happens, to
Yes.
quote an old saying that I heard. They really are. And, you don't have to completely give it up. We're going to all have our days that we're frustrated, okay? And so, you take a break, you chill, you think about some other things, but don't shut off. I would think twice before shutting off any avenue completely. You know what I mean? Just because you're tired of it or in a bad mood. There's other things you can do.
Yeah, get out of your comfort zone because that's the
Mhm.
known thing. You're known to that. Take a challenge. Dip your feet into out of your comfort zone and try it. Feel it. Just get
Yeah,
a feel how it is. Just being thinking that okay, I've been at least I've been there, and then feel how was it? Was it so bad? Maybe perhaps
yeah.
it wasn't so bad. Maybe you want another dip, even getting a little bit deeper, further out. See how it's expanding to everything that you have in your life just now.
Test the water, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, test the water.
Exactly. With an open mind, with an all awareness, but an open mind. Test those waters and see where it takes you, and just don't be afraid to ever be yourself and let your light shine. And, don't be afraid to manifest something that you want. I mean, that as long as you're not thinking about hurting somebody or messing with somebody else's life, it doesn't matter what else you are thinking good thoughts for yourself. If you manifest those things, if it's something that's going to help you and it's not going to hurt anybody else, manifest that, and you know what? You're going to help other people too, whether you know it or not.
Yes, I think if you want to expand and want to learn something, I think I just want to give this task of being an admin, honor this situation that I'm in. Um, I have had the opportunity to learn so much and being more uh, knowing more about myself, and that excites me to dig into things and see that there is so many things that life have given me after being an admin in this group, and I'm very thankful to you,
Hmm.
Larry, and to the group, and to Leah, and the last the last months and the time I've been into this group and other groups as well have taught me more about myself in a very short time within the last 3 years than it has in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
Um,
and maybe your whole life in some points. I know it has for me, and just the knowledge that I've gotten through you and bouncing off ideas from you, it's just been incredible. And Jason and Leah, I mean, it's just we bounce those ideas off each other, or we won't even do it. We'll be talking, and one person will say another thing, and it'll just click, and it's a synchronicity thing. And when we open our minds and love each other, we become on this super highway wavelength, and we go there, and we just, it's getting to the point, like you say, telepathy, everything. It's amazing what can happen when there's no judgment and there's just pure love, and at least making the effort to care about the other person. It's
yeah,
incredible.
just when it just when I was thinking that I knew it all and I have tried it all, then some person from the Pleiadian or Arcturian group is coming up with a different angle of the same thing, and I was just amazed. I thought I've seen it all with one issue, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, that is a new twist to it that I have never thought about, and then you have to wrap your mind around that. It's that's amazing. That was really magic. Magical things is happening.
They really are. I mean, and people will, we don't really, need to harp on that a lot more even tonight because people are going to start knowing it. And I'd say the majority, a lot of people in our group already do know it. And what I would like to ask of them is, it goes along again with, your shyness on posting. Post something on there. Post, say, hey, what does everybody think about this? This is what is happening to me, or I'd like to get somebody's take on this. You know, you'd be surprised how many people have gone through the same thing and are going through the same thing. And if nobody answers, we'll post it again the next day. Somebody will answer. Ask an admin if it's if it's something they can help you with as far as some questions. I mean, try to do the most research you can on the smaller stuff, like what is ascension, and all this stuff, and when will it happen, and not that anybody knows, or what's a Pleiadian, what's somebody from Orion, what's an Arcturian, what's a Sirian. Well, those kind of questions, just go have answered, and then gather what you've read, and if you resonate with it, you'll keep wanting to research more, and then pretty soon you'll have a really great idea of what's going on.
About posts and time and Pleiadians, me and time doesn't. It's one of those things that I don't resonate with the Arcturians,
Right.
because I have this lack of patience when it comes to time. I cannot keep up with schedules. Today I was really keeping up with my time. I was so proud of myself. I was on here 8 o'clock this morning, just the right time to catch up with you. And I was so surprised. I did my schedule. I felt so happy that I was able to do that. And about time and posts in Norway, it's a time when it's very quiet.
Yeah.
On the Pleiadian side, and I would say my best time is at night. There is so many people at night posting, and everything is going so fast. Everything is happening so fast. You don't even get to look at. I just have to save some posts just to get into that when there is.
Oh, it's true. The consciousness is flowing at that time, big time.
Yeah, and I'm ahead of you.
Yes,
I'm
you are. You're in the future.
I'm in the future, yeah, it's about the place I am. I'm in Norway, and you are in America, so it's different time. It's a huge different time.
It is. And I think it fits too. I think that you kind of are in the future ahead of me a little bit. And I want to just say too that I was really glad to see you on before I got off this morning too on there, and it really brightened my day to see it. And the feeling is very mutual. And yeah, I'm glad that we could hook up again and talk tonight. It's always enlightening to talk to you, I know. And I always come away at least, well, learning something, but I always come away at least thinking about something because, well, you've already confirmed for me what I was thinking and that you were thinking it too. So, it must have been right. And yeah, it's really great for me too. I'm glad you felt that way this morning because I really did too. It was great. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
And I was right about it as well. There was a time when I was thinking no, and that also tells me something that I ought to listen to my intuition more. And we all do, because intuition, your gut feeling, your intuition is like, oh damn, I should have listened. I should have done that. Why didn't I do it? That was my first thought. I knew it. And then why is it that we are living so much in 3D that we are not listening to the gut feeling? But it's coming. It's coming. We get that time over and over again, and we see that we should have. Why didn't I? But we're learning. We're getting there.
Just by acknowledging it, like you and I are. I mean, we're definitely getting it. And I would say, people trust your gut feeling because 95% of the time, my gut feeling is always right, and the other 5% is just not right at that second. It turns out a little bit later down the road, that 5% I thought I was wrong on, I was really right. And, it's because you get to this point where you have no judgment whatsoever, but at the same time, of every single innate possibility there could be, and you've seen some things in life, and you realize that with no judgment. Hey, this is how it's going to play out right now. If something doesn't change with that person's situation, what they're doing, or something doesn't change with how that situation's going, then I mean, obviously that's going to be the outcome. Now if that changes, then the outcome could change. But at that point, we see that too, because you got to be able to keep your open mind in every single now moment you're in.
Yes. Have you seen the dogs hunting for birds? They're like very very stressed and want to be at many places at the same time, hurrying this and
Yes.
looking for things all the time to the left and to the right. I have a son like you. He's like, oh, life is so precious and so fun, and there is so many things that may I jump into all the trains at the same time. I love it. It's just like, and I think he loved life even before he was born. He's like that even today, and he's 29, and life is, oh, such an expansion. There is no limits to him. He can do whatever. And I think there is so many people out there like him. Love them. They're so precious.
They're an inspiration. They really are. And the fact that they can keep up that you know what I mean? They can keep that magic and that excitement going day after day.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes they are a hazard to themselves, and
Yes. Back.
they're doing everything. And so I would love to be like that. I would love to dare everything. And
Mhm.
there's some people who dares everything, extreme sports and everything. I'm so amazed of that. And there
Oh,
is
me
so
too.
much wonderful people out there, and it's just
It's exciting they live like that life like that, and and on the other hand too, like your son or like a family member, like if you kind of probably before were like just worried about, you might have been worried like, oh, kind of you love what he's doing, but you're like, gosh, I wish he'd be careful. But
yeah.
they live their life like that, and they're just a great example though, especially when they do it responsibly. You can be extreme like that and still responsible.
I have been worried sick, even into depression over this child, and
Yeah.
he's still living, and he's laughing at me sometimes. But that's my privilege as a mother,
Has
you
the
know.
mother, is it starting to calm? I know it never will for a mother, but is it starting to, are you kind of putting it into a little more perspective as you get, you know what I mean? As we start like going through this ascension, I mean, you realize, I don't know how I'd put that, but you know what I mean? Is it so hard to swallow anymore? Or is it still tough to see him do that?
No, no. Today he's giving me more pleasure than ever, and I love him so dearly, and I think he's amazing. I never thought he would get so far, and that he was such an amazing person, and I see more of that around me, and I am in love with life. I'm truly ecstatic about love and life and all these people around me. I see it opens up doors to see to be amazed every day of so many people being like that, loving life. And he has been a great teacher to me. And I think we should have a look around and see if you can find people like that, because they are a great teacher
And they're
to
all
you.
around us really when we open our eyes. And you're right about the everyday thing. I mean, it's literally, even if you're not looking for it, Jane, like don't go out, you don't even go out of the house in a day. I mean, you're still running into this stuff nearly every day, and it's exciting. Much less if somebody was out there really looking for it. This stuff is like occurring whether you want it to or not, and which most of us want. The excitement level is just getting to be at the point where every day it is.
Yeah, and those people makes your heart almost stop, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, how dare you? How did you dare to do that?" And they just go, "Ha ha ha, that was fun," and that was like that. That's really a relief that
It really
yeah,
is.
it went right this time. but these are great teachers, because this is what we are going to do in this life. We are going to observe, we are going to expand, we are going to teach, experience, and these things are things that these people are doing. They're daring everything. There is no limits for these people, and that's the beauty.
And there's no much arrogance either. They just do it. You know what I mean? And like they might smile and go, you know, haha, or I just did it. I don't know. You know what I mean? When you start getting into and asking them, well, how'd you do it? How can you know how that's their love and what they just do innately and naturally. It's hard for them to tell you exactly.
That and sometimes I'm thinking, oh, that's impossible. That is not true. That couldn't be happening. Then please don't disturb the one who does it.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Because there is people doing it, really. So, for real. And that's
Really, yeah, they really are. It's pretty undeniable, and you know, don't step in their growth path and let them have the freedom to do that kind of thing. You know, they are in control of their own destiny and their life, and they're loving it. And you know, be happy for them. Don't get caught up in, you know, of course, it's natural for a mom to worry and all that, but you know, other people in his life, you know, that were just friends. You know, somebody might be jealous or something, and oh, well, you shouldn't do that, or well, you should, you know. But you wonder the agenda of somebody coming and saying that, you know, you shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, or if it's jealousy. But let them be the person that they are. You know, we need to quit worrying about being who we are.
Yeah, so there is people out there also fighting the politics and the politics situation and the money and the money system, and they're fighting different groups and everything. Let them do so. If that's them acting out of their highest excitement, maybe that's their task in this life. Because I couldn't do it, that doesn't mean that no one should do it.
Right.
If they want to risk doing so, that might be the thing that they came here to do.
It might be too, and you know, and put it in perspective too. Exactly. They think of it this way. They came here to do that. That was their role to play. Now keep it in perspective, and don't get yourself in that mindset of, oh, us against them, because really all those people, they are, you know, it's all part of either one game or it's part of something they came here to do. There's no real division in these political powers or these countries running, these political people running countries. I mean, let's just get real about it. If there is an evil that's been controlling the earth, it's people way behind the scenes, 3 or 4 levels up from any world leader. I mean, it's all a big game. It's us against them mentality, and I still see it sometimes. And it's really, it's just, I kind of just, you know, I just worry about the younger people seeing it that don't get it, but they probably already do. I just, you know, that stuff is so played out. This isn't the 1960s or 70s anymore. All this, you know, impeach Obama, or Obama's God, or kill Bush, or Bush is God. I mean, first of all, it's they're all working it. They're all doing what they came here to do, for one. 2, they're all part of one agenda while they're here. It's one agenda, period. Period, point blank. Everything will take care of itself, you know. And yes, I feel bad for certain countries that are oppressed, but then I look at it like this, and the people that are oppressing them are, you know, are in bed with those people's leaders. So people need to understand that we're all one collective, and it's not about, you know, it's just not about war anymore. I mean, that's so played out, and you know, and like to show dead bodies to people, like especially in Pleiadians, that one post was really disturbing, and it wasn't, you know, I just felt bad for you and, you know, other people or ladies that had to see that, and it's like, okay, from my angle, it's like, it's so stupid and lame, it's played out. I mean, there's nothing you couldn't show me that would even ever begin to shock me. It's all going on. People are oppressed, yada, yada, yada. I know it. I care with all my heart and love them. But the worst thing you can do is start talking about it anymore, because it's changing. And we already know it's there. I mean, there's nothing you could tell anybody that would surprise them if they were thinking, you know.
Right.
It's just the bottom line, especially in our group.
And then again, you have also the rainbow children, the crystal children. They have we have different missions.
Yes.
We ought not to be envious of these children coming today and aiding us in getting
Oh,
in
they're
the
wonderful. We're
uh,
going to groom them, definitely. They are our future leaders.
oh my God, they have such a big task on their shoulders, and they are carrying so much burdens, and their meeting is so much challenge, and we have got to remember that we are in this together, and we have
Absolutely.
agreed upon coming to earth to ascend, and there is one common goal, and we are as much important, every and each one of us.
Yes,
We are just doing it and expressing it our own way, each one,
exactly.
and it's that everything is right. Everything is the right way.
Everybody came in when they needed to and at the right time. And yes, these kids that were born, say mid to late '90s on to today, these kids are not what you would think of as either they're athletic or jocks or nerdy and smart. They're both. These kids are both really athletic generally and very bright. I used to coach, and I know that 90 to 95% of them are like that, and I could see that most of the other 5 to 10% will become like that. And also they see things they don't see things as a left and right decision like you or I did. Make this decision, that decision. They really see it all at once. They just don't realize that they do. Well, they do, but they don't realize any different because that's how they are. You know what I mean? It's
Can you
hard for them
imagine
to
how difficult it is to see all that and knowing how much you should do and that there is little time to do it, and they're raging.
Yes.
They're just like, if you can imagine, be knowing a little bit about Christianity, Jesus Christ clearing the table. Can you imagine how much rage is within these kids, seeing all these wrong things going on and having such a short time of doing it? And also, I've seen so many new members of our family and so many new starseeds waking up and thinking that, oh my God, I'm in a hurry and I'm sitting here. I
Mhm.
know I don't even know where to begin because I'm seeing all this and I don't know what's my mission and I need to do more. What should I do? And
Yeah.
I'm having a really hard time. And well, my take on it is just be.
Yes.
First
You're
of
already
all,
doing what
just
you need to be
be.
doing. Just by them asking that, Jane, you're right. Just because you realize that they're already really doing what they need to be doing.
Yes.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and they don't resonate with this shit that's happened in the past generations. Here's the funny thing about them that's so great is they don't resonate with any of the bullshit and they don't like it, but at the same time they don't have any judgment in particular against individuals involved with it. They just don't understand it and they don't like it, and it's just beneath them to understand. They almost have to lower themselves down to try to even understand it.
Yes, it's because they see the big picture. They see everything that's going on and how it should be, and that's really um, it's very easy to sort of sit up there and look down into it, being um, 5D, 6D, and up soul, uh, not being in a human body and down to this density, seeing all this happening. It looks very easy to do something about it. It looks because you know what should be done. But coming to Earth and
Come
having
into
this,
the war zone.
yeah, coming to the war zone and having this mission,
Yes.
oh my God, you see, quite different because you don't have these skills anymore that you know that you have, and you don't understand that, oh, why don't they do this and why don't they do that? They should have done this. Let me go down to earth in this 3D body, and I will change the world. I
Yes.
know that. I have been thinking that.
it makes it, you know what, that makes you touched on a good point. That really shows you what a school of learning it is to here for the universe, because you're right. You come down here, you think you know it all, and you don't get the same powers you had up there, but now you've got to be in this situation, and it really it pushes a soul to really expand,
Yeah, it's like the saying, try to wear my shoes and walk my path, and that's what they're really doing when they're coming to Earth in this 3D body. Uh, you're really trying the shoes on, seeing how difficult it is, because it's from their point of view, it's not difficult with that skills and not being into this density. It's looking like it's really easy, and then it's not. It's like, try to walk in my shoes, but then again, try to walk in my mind. My God, you'll get crazy just being there for uh, 15 minutes.
Oh,
But
yeah,
inside
exactly.
there, it's really craziness. It's madness.
Oh, big time, exactly. It's yeah, it really is. And these young kids, they have such a burden on their shoulders, and they've come in with a little bit more of their DNA strands open, a little bit more. They're more athletic, they're more smart. In fact, they're both. And it's not even that they're IQ wise more smart, right? But their consciousness level is so far ahead of ours. It's not that IQ wise necessarily they are, but that goes along with it. They talked about, we use 10 to 15% of our brain, and always the talk when I was growing up in the 80s. Well, imagine what a human will be like when be able to use like 40, 30, 40, 50% of their brain even. Oh, how brilliant and smart they'll be. And well, that goes along with it. But I think what they really meant was your consciousness and awareness. And isn't awareness everything? If you're already aware of it completely, I mean, that to me is knowing it. I mean, these kids are the epitome of that. They know how everything works you could imagine, and they may not. They don't need to waste their time with the nuts and bolts of it, and how it, what goes into everything. Maybe what they're specifically into, yes, but the rest of it they innately know. And I feel like since my awakening, I do too. You innately know the end game. Like Jane, something you're not into or something that's important, right? But you're not really into, but you innately know what it means at the end of it, whether you're able to tell how it goes and, all this nonsense. But these kids are just something special, especially I'd say the kids that are 20 now, 20 at the most, 19 and under are all, 20 and over, they're starting to ascend like us. But these kids that are 19 and under are just a whole new breed. It's different.
Yes, and then there is kids, if you want to call them, it could be under 18 even, who
Hmm.
want to get into the group. And I have caught myself so many times thinking, oh my God, that's just a kid.
Yeah.
Uh, what is a kid going to do within the Pleiadian group? And I'm getting really worried. What if it gets run over by so many people? And catching my own thought is,
And those rebellious youth, right, Jane?
my God, Jane, what now you're being judgmental, because this might be very bright and crystal and rainbow children that knows exactly what they're doing, and they have answers. And if not, they're growing up with what you didn't grow up with, calling computer, and they are fast as hell in this kind of things. And yes, and they can find out things so easily. And I think also um, they can do fine in the group. And besides being that judgmental, I need to remind myself that this is in fact a very loving group, and
Yes.
I expect people to be such
I know
people.
in your old mind now, you were right. You were probably thinking them damn hippie kids and coming in here now. But you know what I mean? You caught yourself like because of their age. But the thing is, these kids are different. They will come in so humbly and they'll ask a question, right? And it's like you can say one thing and then they'll figure it all out better than you did here, real quick, quick, quick. They'll be like, oh, so this means this and this and this, and I thought that and that and that, and it's like, wow, they start teaching us a thing or two.
Yes,
Yeah, it's amazing.
and it's going to be very important also for us to see these people and see how they're thinking, because I think their mindset is a little bit different than ours.
Yes.
It would be really very, very interesting to see what they can contribute to the group
Exactly,
and to the
because
thinking.
most of them, overwhelming majority of them, are first-time souls on Earth, period. But here's the kicker. Their souls are older than most of ours in the universe. That's what
Yeah,
Marciniak had said, and Cryon had said that, and boy, it sure stands to all reason, doesn't it?
say again.
It sure stands to reason. I know Marciniak said that. I know that Cryon said that. You know, Marciniak, Bringers of the Dawn, said it. Cryon said it all those years ago, too, about these kids. And maybe most of their first incarnation here on Earth, a few of them, maybe they've had another, but rare. But the thing is, their souls, they've been in the galaxy longer than most anybody on Earth. Even
Yeah,
people, they're wise.
they're very wise, and I want to see more of that. I really want to see more of that. That would be so great.
Wouldn't that be
If
wonderful to see? And I think that we're going to start seeing it more and more. And our purpose really is to be their guides and groom them along till they're ready to run the show, which isn't going to be long. And that's kind of the plan, you know. And they love us too, you know. They're very grateful, and I find that with them too. And I'm grateful for what they teach me, you know.
yes, and speaking of such, we had Ciara with us earlier, and I don't know where she went or
Her
what
phone,
into her phone. Yeah, and she's such a humble soul. I love her being. I want to. I really need to say this because it's been on my mind for a long time during this conversation. She's just a very loving soul and
you're gonna
very
melt her heart
patient.
right now. She loves you too. She looks up to you like, my God. But yeah, go ahead, yeah.
She's just like this. I have been wondering so many times. Is she a rainbow child, crystal child? Does she have any? Uh, she has
I
a gift.
I think she's a future Arcturian. I think she's like you. I've only met, you know, you, like I've told you before, there's not a lot of pure Arcturians that I see on here that embody it. You and of course my co-host Michelle Walling from Texas of Cosmic Awakenings. But as quick as Sierra's going through this at 20, and just her likes are similar to a lot of yours too, and you know, and Michelle's and talking to her, I just really feel like, yeah, she is. I feel like there's going to be a switch flip on for her one day, real soon. And man, I mean, who knows? She could be well, we're all the chosen one, but I've never seen somebody so young, 19, just turned 20. These ascension symptoms are so intense for her, and I mean, she's went through this real quick, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's been the ultimate boot camp for her mind.
Yeah, and her symptoms is a bit different. We were talking about that earlier, me and you. Is a bit different than mine. She's having this high pitched sound for a very long time during the night, whereas I am having low and high to different times, and cannot control it but taking it in, and it's fading again, and it's on different ear. One high on the right ear is constantly coming up, and the other one is very, very low, and I'm puzzled about this, and don't want it to go away, but it's going away and coming back.
Exactly. It's not going away, Janie. The thing is you're getting used to it because it's you're settling into that vibration, and it's took a while. Sierra's getting all of it like in a couple months,
Yeah.
beating the hell, I mean, so to speak, in a lovingly, beating the hell out of her, getting to her to ascend. I mean, they're put, you know, I mean, she must be destined for something great because it's just they're putting her through it really quick, like boom, 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 like all of it,
Yeah,
like
but she can have it. She can really tolerate it. Well, it's me. I'm like when I'm standing with my trying to pour hot coffee, all of a sudden there is a sound, and I'm
yeah,
almost dropping my coffee just to not do anything, just be in the sound.
I've
I'm
been there.
stopping everything that I'm doing just to be in the sound and noticing it and being aware of it, observing it, and all of that. It's
Yes.
really.
It's really hard. Now imagine all that you've dealt with like that, right? And then they condensed it down into just 2 months for Jane or 3 months for Jane and hit you with it triple like that real quick. Oh,
Yes,
wouldn't that be a hell of a 3 months for you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would, yeah, I would
You
like
couldn't even
that.
pour a cup of coffee or yeah, it's intense. I mean, it's yeah,
It's you know something. It's taken away my skills as um, what do you call it in English? Uh, multitasking, multitasking.
yes,
Yes, I'm
yeah,
no
and
longer.
little mundane
I'm
routine
no
things.
longer
Yeah.
that capable. Yeah, I don't have that great skills with those things. And could that be? And it has puzzled me. I was thinking about could that be also recognizing the male part of me, the male energy. Um,
Yeah.
that could be it. That I don't longer any longer resonate as much as I did with my female side
And
energies.
me neither, the male, the opposite. It's like we really are coming back together as one. I mean, really, and that's really what's going to help, what's helped society. People, and this is the thing, the establishment, right? Not to bring up a paranoid situation, but they will bitch and bitch and bitch about the world. Oh, it's becoming more, the men are getting, more feminine and the women are becoming more masculine. But from the mindset, you know what, that is really what it is about coming together. You know what I mean, though, Jane? Like people with the high consciousness, right? You're not resonating more. You're resonating more with that male side that is good, and I'm resonating more with the female side. And I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay, I mean, why don't we both have a sex change and get married? No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean, though? Like you're resonating with that other side in a good way, and I am too. And that just it goes to show you that we really are becoming one.
And another thing that I was noticing this night on my night shift, that's really amazing. And I don't know if you get to see the Eurovision Song Contest where you're at.
No, they don't show anything else.
No,
America
no.
is America. We don't care. I mean, I do. I love it, but I'm on an island here. Nobody gives a shit about in America what's going on outside of America. We have no clue.
Okay, I
Your
will
guys are
ask.
forced to watch all your shit, but go
I
ahead.
will post it on the Pleiadians after this show. I will post it.
Please do.
Do you know who won the Eurovision Song Contest?
Ruben stuttered. I don't know who. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It's this type. What do you call it? Trans. When you are wearing a dress, being a
Yeah.
man with a beard.
Yeah. A tranny, transsexual,
Yes, and do you
transvestite,
know?
transgender.
Yes, and do you know
Human
what he
being.
was? He
Fuck.
was. I will post the song.
Okay.
And you will be amazed hearing what he said in the end. This is for you all. I love you all.
And I hope anybody's listening. I hope I'm going to check this out, and I'm going to let you know right now, one anti-gender comment, one slam, one, unless you just want to say, it was great, but I just didn't care for the song, fine. But if you make any comments negative towards the way this person looks, you're finished in the group. And I'm just going to lay it out right there. You're finished. So keep that in mind, and hopefully people have heeded that warning. But I can't wait to see this because this is what we're moving towards. I mean, a couple dimensions up, we are one unisexual being. We really
Yes,
are.
exactly.
Exactly. And I mean, it's got to be the case. I mean, anybody's in fucking denial if they don't agree. And I'm not trying to be arrogant, but how could it not be? It'd be like saying that eventually at some point we're not all one with the source. Well, okay. Well, yeah, we are. I mean, it's undeniable. Now it may be debatable how many levels up it takes, but still, at the end of the day, it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. You know what I mean?
He was truly amazing. And you know the mind of the guy and how he expressed himself. I
Yeah.
was like moved to tears. It was truly beautiful. It was like, oh my God, was meant to be for everyone to see. It was, oh my, he was just beautiful. He was just, oh.
And now I know I'll feel that way because we always usually vibe and agree on. I know we've shared stuff with each other before like that neither one of us had seen, and or you hadn't seen, maybe I had, or I hadn't seen, you did, and we just totally resonate with it. So I know I will, and like I said, I can't wait to see it. And I won't tolerate anybody making a negative comment based on anything but the sound of his voice. And the thing is, people can be like, oh, well, gee, they're all about love. What a bunch of weirdos. Well, you know what? Whatever. They can save that shit in a heartbeat, because you know what I mean. I've been there and done that, and I know what time it is, and it just
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
That's the time for it. But posting, when I post this, I will also write a comment on top of it and say what I'm thinking. I think that will prevent people from judging so fast.
Oh, I do too. Maybe that's a little bit of my 3D eagled up, but I'm just saying, yeah, if they judge, yeah, and maybe it will. Maybe it will, but I think that if that's the kind of thing, is we don't need anybody even addressing how he looks. I mean, as far as that goes, depending if it's something simple, they may get off with a warning, but I'd say they're finished if they even want to if their consciousness even catches that, if their consciousness even gets hung up for one split second on that look. Like you were telling me that, because it's great and it's wonderful, but if anybody was to just 3D wise get hung up on his look for a second, they're probably not ready to be in our group at all.
Yeah, because that person, he was vibrating in such a high frequency and such vibrations. It was doing the core of my heart. It was truly amazing.
Exactly. And somebody that talented, yeah. I wouldn't care if they were wearing a Viking hat, high heels, some purple bell bottoms, and a ripped out orange sweatshirt. Okay, I mean, if they showed that love that they were projecting in their music and their persona, who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Any split second I might see that guy walk out in purple bell bottoms and a Viking hat, and high heels. It would be gone. Hearing that love and prime creator likeness in him come out,
Yeah, it was truly amazing. I really need to post this so that I need to be bold and speak out so that everyone can hear what you're saying.
I'll tell you what, Jane, you're gonna be bold in doing this. I'll tell you what, I'll upstage you if somebody makes a negative comment. I'll be even bolder. But I think, True, it's time to wrap up the show tonight, and we'll go from there and see what kind of reaction we get in the group on posting this too. And I'm going to watch that video too once I get this posted, and see, we don't really talk good in America. Once I watch that video and once I get this posted, but we just, I'd like to tell everybody to close that I love everybody out there, and this group. I'm not doing it for I'm not just doing it to do it for nothing. And even if I am, I still love you all. And I wanted to thank you, Jane. It's always, of course, a pleasure to talk with you. And I'm sorry that Sierra's phone blew up and everything. She is, definitely one of our future leaders, and a great woman and a great young lady. And I just, I think she's wonderful, and I think you're wonderful, and Jason is too, and Leah, and everybody in the group. And I'm going to quit babbling now. And you know what, Jane Hermstead from Norway, the land of the midnight sun. Jane, that used to be from Oslo. I'm gonna let you go ahead and wrap it up and just say a couple words to the people out there.
You mean I should say something?
Say something.
I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I love you all, and I appreciate this so much, being together with you all, and blessings, and even going to blessings. Know what blessings is. It's good thoughts and good feelings from the bottom of my heart to everyone. And I love you also, Jason, Ciara, everyone.
We love you.
All the admins in the group, and there is not really.
Well, you see how we're all coming together. I just say one last thing. I heard you say you all there. I can tell the Texas influence, and you got some Texans in the group like Brendan and whatnot. See the y'all? That sounded really good in a Norwegian accent. I love y'all.
Okay.
Y'all come back now, you hear? All right, sweetie, goodbye. God bless, farewell, and amen. And I'll talk to you in another now moment in a few seconds. Peace.